How are we doing? It's Skywatch time. Thank God the weather has actually done what it was meant to do. It's clear enough for us to get the camera out. So today we are going to be looking out for UFO, UAP, all of the weird and wonderful stuff in the night sky here, live from Wiltshire, right in the heart of Crop Circle country, and just down the road from Stonehenge. We've already got some movement on the screen, but we need to see objects like that, so we're going to see many more of those tonight. We need to see objects like that stop dead, shoot off at speed, change their course or trajectory. That will tell us for sure that it is in fact something very strange indeed that we're seeing up there in the night sky. So yeah, do let us know where you're all watching from tonight. Say hello, and yeah, let us know if you've also seen something yourself. Liberty is already in. How are you doing? I think you're first over there on the tubes. Good to see you there. Oh, it is a day today, isn't it, there? And how you doing, Oscar, there? Post the newest progress on the project there. So proud of it. I'm rightly so. I'll have to check it out then after the stream for that one. But that sounds very, very cool, Oscar. And well done with that. I'm glad to hear it, Liberty. Glad to hear it. Have you got any other streams coming up anytime soon? Guys, if you're just joining us, we're doing our live UFO, UAP Sky Hunt tonight. Eventually the clouds have shifted and we can see all of the wonderful sky. Now that blue colour, that is the last of the daylight that is getting picked up by our camera. So as the night moves on, it won't be too long at all, but as the night moves on there, that will go, and we're going to see lots of dark skies and all beautiful stars and things like that. Emilio's in there, and is that Sharia as well? Good to see you there. How are you guys doing there? Oh, in the morning, got another stream. What are you checking out on that one there? Oh, you're filming as well. Like the sound of that, all the creative stuff there. How are we doing? Indigo too? Good to see you. Look, we've got some clear skies tonight. Definitely been a few days, hasn't it, since we've had some clear skies. So hopefully we're going to have some awesome sightings. It does tend to be the case that because we are based right here in the heart of Crop Circle country, so just down the road from Stonehenge, we do get lots of anomalies in the night sky. So hopefully, yeah, we're going to see some more activity tonight there. Oh, wrong button, Sam. Wrong button. There we go. And whilst it's early in the stream, there's a chance you could check it now. I can't, sadly, Oscar, because I haven't got a browser over in front of me, or the sound, it all comes through and stuff like that. So I can't do it until after the stream. Sorry, dude, but I'm sure it is going to be awesome. And where are we there? And Grandmaster, how you doing there? Something else to look out for tonight there. And if you're lucky, you might see the last glimmers of Tushle's Hope there. Is that comet we were talking about? Yeah. It would be nice if we could. What part of the sky is it in there? And Lucy, how are you doing there? You saw a UFO a few days ago. Now, that is very interesting. It's my favourite part of doing this, is actually hearing from you guys around the world and all of your sightings and experiences. What sort of sighting was it there? Could you see like the actual craft itself, or was it lights in the sky? Oh, tell us more. I'd love to hear about that one. Thank you for sharing that, Lucy. And check it in the morning. Oscar, hopefully, yeah, I'll remember after the stream and we'll check it out there. Awesome work, though, I'm sure. And Drewski, how are you doing? It's all good. It's warm. It's warmer than expected. I tried putting the aircon on in this room just before the stream to kind of lower it a couple of degrees. It didn't. It just heated up the rest of the damn house. And happy UFO day there, Grandmaster. Apparently, yeah, it's UFO, International UFO Day today, the 2nd of July. I didn't know that until this year. We'll have to make more of a fuss of it, won't we? I think in future years. But guys, if you're just joining us, we're doing our live UFO, UAP, Skywatch. So coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK, right in the heart of Crop Circle country and just down the road from Stonehenge. So a long history of weird and wonderful things in these skies. Another heatwave coming. Oh, God, I don't think I can handle it, Drewski. I don't think I can, as long as it's not as bad. The one we had in May, that was terrible. But this time, oh, no, it was just too high. Ridiculous, wasn't it? But yeah, well, lots of strange things. This little town that we are coming to you live from, it's called Warminster. It's right in the middle of Wiltshire, right in the middle of the country. Oh, that's a bright one. Should we zoom in on this one?
Zoom mode activated.
There we go, look at that. Now, we need to see objects like this. We need to see them stop dead, shoot off at speed, change their course or trajectory. That tells us for sure that 100% it is something strange and not just one of the many, many man-made objects flying around up there. But that is very big and very bright compared to some of the others. So as I zoom back out, follow it across the screen. Even if it's gone in a straight line most of the time, there, you never know. It's that last-minute hesitation that can prove it there for us. And even if it doesn't do anything anomalous, we just don't know what it is. It means we can't say for sure that it is strange, but it doesn't mean that it isn't. It just means statistically it is most likely to be something man-made, just because there's so many of them up there. Hey up, how are you doing? Dropping in briefly there as you have an early start. No worries there, hey up. It's good to see you there. I hope it's not too early. I hate early starts there. First time. Oh, it's the first time we heard of it also there. Well, if you didn't know about the UFO day, then is it a new thing maybe? How are we doing, Doug? Good to see you in there as well. And Ian, good evening. I hope we are all good. Just warm, and I'm complaining about it there. We're in Warminster. It's quite a famous site in your neck of the woods. Apparently, Grandmaster, it is. So I didn't know. I come from Essex. We only moved here about a year ago, as you probably heard me say 1,000 times. But it was literally moving here, going, right, well, what is this town like? What's the crime rate like? You know, boom, the Warminster thing, they called it. I went, how have I not heard about this UFO flap? So it's a big UFO flap that went on for about 10 years solid back in the 60s and 70s. And it was crazy. It's one of the best ones that I've heard of, because it wasn't just there were a couple of sightings a few years apart. There was consistent activity for pretty much 10 years solid. It still goes on a bit today, nowhere near as much, and we've seen some strange things, but it is a strange part of the world. But yeah, it was so common that people over that 10-year period would travel internationally and, you know, come over to visit and have regular sightings and experiences. It's a very strange little part of the world. This is where we got our name from, the thing. But yeah, we do think there's still something going on there. And you, as I never knew of a World UFO Day either. Exactly there. It's UFO because we don't know what it is. Exactly, Emilio. UFO, unidentified flying object there, or is it anomalous phenomena is the other one? Is it not unidentified anomalous phenomena? Is it? It's something totally even more broad now, isn't it? UAP, the definition there. But yeah, could be something explainable. Could be some sort of freak weather pattern there that we just aren't aware of. Could be many things there. How you do? You got Sophie.
I
Hello.
manifested.
You manifested Sophie. You're very mad to be up here, aren't you, Sophie? But she is very soft. I'm gonna have fluff.
Sophie no ears?
Because she has no ears.
Where'd they go?
Hello. They hate being upstairs. Oops.
They hate mummy cuddles mostly.
Oh, you're so grumpy. But you're very cute.
Oh look, someone joined your fan club.
There we go. Absolutely adorable there, Sophie. Yes. Mwah. I'm gonna fluff everywhere. I'm gonna be tickling my nose all night long. And dentist. Oh my god, that's even worse. Up early and the dentist there before work. I said, oh, that is awful. I'm not sure if I've heard worse news that out. That is grim. There. I'm sure it's just some capitalist bullshit to make money. Hey, anything that raises awareness, I'm for it. And there was a lot of activity in Warminster there, and it should be a higher profile than Rendersham to be. Grandmaster, that's exactly what I think. And I thought I was up on all of the UFO stuff, you know. Then, by no means an expert, but I spent a lot of time on YouTube, you know, all of the stories and stuff. But, you know, for the events that happened, it does not get much attention. So that is kind of my mission, is to kind of make it a little bit of a UFO hotspot. I mean, there's nothing else going on in town. It's a lovely place, but there's nothing happening here. So it could use a thing. That's my mission. It'd be a little bit of a Glastonbury for us weirdos. We can all come visit and do some sky watching and stuff there. Lucy's, I thought it was a plane at first there, but it stopped like a star and then moved lower, really slow, until I couldn't see it anymore. Now, that stopping back, that movement there, so if it's like a star, that probably gives you a rough rule of thumb of the altitude. So therefore, it's going to be up very, very high. And we know, you know, the things that we have up there are those altitudes there. We know how they move. They have to work by slowly adjusting orbits. It takes a lot of energy just to go bounce around, kind of how we do within our atmosphere. We can't really do it in space. So that movement you've described there is very, very anomalous there. Whereabouts in the world was that sighting? Thank you there. And Ian, if you get similar weather to us an hour down the road there, roughly, you'll from you. The rain will be back soon for a couple of months. Oh God, yeah, that is it. So it's one thing or the bloody other, isn't it? Here, I'm hoping for just moderate weather. We want some nice clear skies, but geez, even today was on the top end of warm for me there. We buffering a bit. It's not showing anything here, but that doesn't always mean the case there. Buffering as well for Grandmaster. Weird. Why is it buffering for you guys on the tubes? Because we're not getting anything on this end. Is it YouTube having a bit of a sulk again? Because it did that the other day during our deep dive, didn't it? It's not coming out of a warning, which is weird. But then again, it's not loading anything anyway. Yeah, it's not coming out of a warning, so it might just be YouTube having a bit of a sulk there. In Worcestershire. Right, excellent. So honestly, we've seen a few things strange, but it's that anomalous movement is the real gold standard. That is the slam dunk for it's got to be anomalous. That's a very good sighting, Lucy. Have you ever seen anything like that before? And Andrew there, there's no satellite tracker there. Many of these objects are going to mimic man-made objects. As a whole, humanity isn't ready. And a small portion of people are ready, and I see a much more than technology reveals there. Andrew, I think, yeah, so we can't bring in a satellite tracker. We have, you know, there are various websites that do a very good job of doing that. But when we move the camera, it's just a pain in the arse trying to align it up. And they don't always get them all anyway, and there's like a normal, like a delay. We are trying to kind of incorporate one into it, but it's very tricky. It's a little bit beyond me at the minute, so it's a long-term project there, because yeah, you're right. I mean, even if they're not intentionally mimicking man-made objects up there, whatever it is that's flying around is gonna be going most of the time in a straight line, you know, from A to point B. Up there's nothing really to avoid, so again, it's going to be that straight line. We're going to see that whether it's a satellite or a UFO is going to look very similar. Both are going to reflect that sun's light back down to us here on the surface. So yeah, they are going to look very, very similar. The only way we can know for sure with the technology that we have available to us is going to be by that movement, by them stopping dead, shooting off at speed, changing course or trajectory. But quite rightly, they are not going to be doing that all of the time there. No, it's not just you, sadly, there. And Colin, thanks for sharing. Thank you, Colin. Thank you for joining and keeping us company all night there. I do appreciate you guys for that one. And is that Rory as well there? How you doing there? Hope you're having a good evening. These streams, of course, always a good time hanging out with you guys. How about yourself there? Oh, changed the video quality and it was defaulting to 720 for some reason. You're going very blurry. What is up with it? Yeah, we're showing it's all right on our end, but I don't know, maybe there's something going on locally or with the tubes there. Using your brother's account there. He's letting me use it, as kind of him. He's going to get all these sorts of videos suggested to him. Every time I let the missus use my YouTube account, all of a sudden it forgets my years of history and just starts suggesting me crap that she watches. Alright, settle down now, someone. Thank you for the heads up there. And it's the first time there, aside from what I've seen on the internet. So was in a disbelief and was thinking maybe it was just a star. But I watched the video back and it was moving like a plane at first. So I started. So Lucy, this is the thing. So do you think, because what I reckon might be going on, I'm going to get my sentence out eventually, is that, you know, we see all this stuff online, so there we're now aware that it's possible, and then when something does happen anomalous in our lives, then we know that it's possible. But whereas beforehand, before being so into the UFO stuff, knowing that it's a possibility, you know, you might just see that and subconsciously just write it off as a plane and not think too much about it. But the more aware we are, the more we can open to these things. And oh, he's on your TikTok watching you as well, and he watches a lot of that. He's called, oh, it's Rory. Hence, I do reckon the name, yes. So you got two of you over there. I like that. What's your name? So I know Rory. Yeah, what's your name on there? And Paul, how are we doing? Oh, C2. Good spotting there. I think I'm a bit delayed on that one. I need to turn up the brightness. And thank you, Sir Paul, there for gifting another membership. Very, very kind of you, sir. And it all goes back into the streams. Who's got that one? Is that Chantel as well has got that one. So you better join us for our deep dives there. So our deep dives are our little thank you to the members and the patrons there, where we go through leaked documents, whistleblower accounts, or images and videos, or the latest of the US drop there. We go through those together with you guys. So I don't think it's this Friday. I think it's the following Friday is our next deep dive there. So do join us for those ones. James there. You're allowed to, but not allowed to make an account there. Well, James, it's very good to see you in. And thank you, Rory, for letting James borrow your account there. And if I don't see it moving first, I would have just assumed it was a star and went about my day. I no wonder more people don't stop for them. 100%, Lucy. How many times do you reckon people... We've actually had people come in to our community, been with us for like a couple of months. TikTok, I'm getting back over to you guys in a second. They've been in our community for a couple of months now. I've never seen anything. No, never. I want to, but I've never seen anything. And then people will share a story, literally like you would share like that. And then they're going, wait a minute, no, I have seen something like that. I didn't realize it was anomalous too. So sometimes we just subconsciously write these things off. I reckon there's a lot more going on than we've all been led to believe. Right, where do we get to over on the tubes? It's supposed to be hot. No, Drew, don't, Drew. I wouldn't survive. I won't survive there. Rory, there you are now. We've got James in on the other side there. M to the C, good to see you there. And X there. Have you seen the video about the boy who was abducted to pilot a UFO of his mind? That's ringing a bell. That is ringing a bell, but I don't know on the fully. How are you doing, Harco, as well? Rory in there as the UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. That's it. Oh, isn't it changed now to unidentified anomalous phenomena? Because technically aerial implies in the sky, but now it's transmedium, like the USOs and, you know, outside of the atmosphere. That was something. They're going to make it as vague as possible. I mean, look, technically it's all true, but I'm old school. I like UFOs there. Oh god, I missed loads of gifts there. Harco coming in with the gifts. X as well. Janie there. Joanne and Blue Nose. Thank you, Captain. How are you guys doing? Thank you for the gifts there. Appreciate all of those. So it all goes back into the stream there. Help us improve what we do. And where did we go down here? Oh, it's Orion in B3. I don't think so. We're pointing south, so we're probably not going to get Orion until after the summer now. But keep up those eagle eyes. We've got in B3 at the minute, that big bright one, that is Vega, 26 light years from us here on Earth. NG, any aliens yet? We've had some anomalies. We've had some anomalies. Not tonight, though. We're only just on tonight, so hopefully it's yet to come. It's still blue. That is still the daylight. So as the sun moves around over the next 20 minutes or so there, that blue is going to come black. And we just saw some flashing around here. Keep an eye out for that. It's going to come black. You'll see more stars, more objects, more movement. There, Laura, welcome aboard. Thank you for the follow. Janie is in there. Kate, she's somewhere. She might be in a bit later there. And Joanne is in, getting to your messages now. Blue Nose, how are we doing, Captain? There as well. Let me scroll down there. And what's UFO Day, NG? So apparently it's just one of these international holidays. They've called it, you know, the July the 2nd is now International UFO Day. Depends if people actually recognize them. Look how fast that one's going. It's actually stretching out due to the frame rate of the camera there. Oh, and a little bit of a flash up there. Very cool. Very cool. Not confirmable anomalous though until it stops dead, although that is very fast compared to some of the others that we have seen today, although that one seems to be a sort of a similar speed, so maybe not that. Keep your eyes on all of that stuff though. You never know. The last second it could stop dead, hesitate or anything like that. I don't think we've clipped any of the sightings recently. I've been so slack. We're getting back into the clipping. We've made a start this week, but I don't think we've got any sightings up there yet for those ones. Oh, July 2nd is the date of a supposed UFO crash in 47. Was it Hark? Oh, is that why they picked it? Excellent. I'm all for that one, because Roswell really is, isn't it, the start of the modern UFO movement there. I mean, technically it was like, what, a month before with old, what's his name, that pilot that saw it, where they got the name Flying Saucers. But for me, it's Roswell is the big one. So, you know, I think we should celebrate this. Now I know it's a thing. We'll do a special one next year. Oh, you see a cartoon background. What's that? Oh, yeah, come on there. What's that? Respect the host. What's that there? What's the cartoon? What, the night sky? So that one isn't. That is a live camera. And the stars are visible now. They're just about poking out there. Just about. There's one moving there. Himiko, how are you doing there? And something is flashing. Or what square was it flashing in? I thought I saw one flash a second ago there. And thoughts on... this is Rory. Thoughts on the Phoenix UFO sighting from the 90s. So, very interesting, very compelling case. Again, there just isn't enough public information available to kind of get a slam dunk. But I do think there was something going on there. I think there was something to it. There's too many people, too many very credible people that saw something that didn't fit, you know, what the explanation was of flares. In fact, well, didn't the US, it's proven that the US actually flew up afterwards, the Air Force, and dropped flares after the incident, just so they could say, oh, you know, it was flare. Look, so we've got it on our records, it's flares. But there's, you know, hours difference between it. You'd think, wouldn't you, when we come into this topic, that if a massive UFO was spotted over a very large city, that would be it. Everybody would know. It'd go around the world, just like on the films, and there'd be no questions anymore. That would be enough to push it over the line. But that's happened, not just in Phoenix Lights case, but it's happened, where else was it? It's happened multiple times, and yet it doesn't. It doesn't quite make the news. People don't believe it there. And Himiko as well, thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us from tonight? So I think there was something to that one. Adam is in as well. Good to see that one. Thank you for the gift, just popping up in real time there. And also, you don't believe the background is real there, and it looks cartoon, but obviously. Oh, NG, were you in the other night? You do familiar. Your profile picture is familiar there. I mean, look, everyone's free to kind of think what they want. But it is, I mean, it's very simplified, isn't it? Because it's the night sky. It's just dots of light. These, you know, and if the mainstream explanation is is to be believed that these are the stars like our sun, you know, some hundreds of light years away, some thousands of light years away, and various distances in between, then there's not much data that we're getting. It is just a few pixels of light by the time it reaches us here. Other than that, it is darkness. I mean, whatever is up there, it's a real camera, and I can only see our lights in the sky, but that's all there is. Well, if the mainstream is to be believed. Now, I wouldn't say we've got it 100% right. I wouldn't say mainstream science has anything 100% right, or anywhere near. You know, I think there are definitely arguments around, you know, how other stars form and other planets around those stars form. You know, we're the favoured model is the accretion model, isn't it, where all of like the loose material gathers by gravity and then becomes planets and things. But there are a lot of reasonable questions. It's not the only theory of how it all works. It's all going to be amazing. I wouldn't say anything is 100% there, but I probably would lean at the minute anyway that these are, as all of these dots here are going to be like our sun, some bigger, some smaller, some brighter, some dimmer, various fusion reactions in the sky, all with their planets around them in orbit. Like this beautiful bright one here is Vega, 26 light years away from us there, burning much hotter and much brighter than our star, but it won't last as long. It's going to burn through its fuel there. I heard it was the A10 Warthogs flaring there, but it sounds like a lie. I mean, it's possible. We did see flares when we did one of our on locations over here, and we're right next to one of the biggest training ranges in the UK, the Salisbury Plain. They're always doing military training over there, and the hill fort that we go up is technically on the training area. It's right on that edge, so we do have to be careful. And you see the helicopters going by. In fact, last time the other week we were up the hill, you know, the army was literally camped out on the same hill with us there, so we tried to not disturb them too much. It's public access, but also it's a training range. But you know, we saw some flares being dropped, and I have to give it to people. I've seen flares dropped many times before, but only during the day. And when we saw them at night, it threw me for a bit. First of all, flares, but then they don't seem to be moving as much as flares would. You know, like in my head, the model what I expected, I don't know if it's a trick of the light. So I was kind of like, oh, maybe not again, you know. And it was only then seeing the helicopter drop in more flares. Okay, right, there you go. It is flares. So I think there is grounds for a little bit of, you know, possibility. But what people were describing, I think, you know, was there for too long. It's too much of a consistent shape for too long. But I mean, people are flawed. But it makes me suspicious, isn't it, that you know, they did it afterwards apparently as well. But we'll never know. Well, unless it comes out in the files there. It looks like a cartoon there because you can see the green dots there. So those green dots, they're the ones that we overlay. So actually behind all of that is the live camera coming in. But yeah, we overlay it there so you can helps identify, you know, the grids of activity there. One heart and a cake are left for the challenge. Oh, what's the challenge there? Janie coming in with extra gifts there. Thank you for that. All goes back into the stream. Yeah, so the grid reference there, those green dots that you're seeing, they're like the crosses, the joins on the grid. And the reason that they're a little bit brighter is because that way we don't have to have the grid lines too thick and too bright, because then you don't want them too bright because it will get in the way of looking at the sky. But you do need to be able to see them quickly, because if you do see something, you need to have the eye quick references, all for that. And we can actually press a button and make those grids glow, basically. NG, thank you for the follow as well there. But yeah, this is, where is it there? And Rory as well. Have you seen the War of the Worlds 2000s? It's a brilliant sci-fi horror adaptation of the original. We watched it for one of our movie clubs recently. So once a month, we sit down and we watch an alien-themed film together. We have to press play on our various streaming platforms, wherever it is, but we chat along together in the Discord as we watch it. And we did that one. What was the last one we watched? It was The Thing, I think was the last one that we watched there as well. We're voting on our next movie club as we speak. So do join over in the Discord, link in bio for that one if you do want to hang out with us there. Did I miss some? I feel like I've missed some. Did it jump ahead on me? No, I think I did catch up with those ones there. And could we just be looking at lights in the sky created by a creator? Well, possibly. This is the thing. And the more science looks into this, the more I'm finding more and more scientists go, actually, you know, the creator model kind of makes sense. That's the one thing that science, you know, needs somebody to create the universe first before they explain it. I don't particularly lean to any specific religion, but I'm much more open to these concepts now. I mean, I don't think it was the Romans, but I remember hearing in school at some point, was it the Greeks or the Romans? It was one of them maybe, that one of their explanations for the night sky was a blanket with holes poked in it and there was candlelight behind it, and that's what they were seeing. So over the years, various cultures have interpreted what we're seeing up there very, very differently, and ultimately our probes, our things that we've sent up there to check and get hands on with, are very, very limited. You know, we have got things around our sun now, so we're able to monitor that and observe it directly, but a lot of this stuff is inferred, you know, from data. It is filtered through perception. There are a lot of extrapolations. It's not all the hard science that the scientists would like you to believe. They are our best working ideas, so we can't say 100%, but I do lean towards the explained model. I'm just going to turn the brightness up a touch there as well. Firstly, very good teacher. Thank you, NG. I do try my best, but I am incredibly flawed as a human as well. I just repeat the interesting things that you guys say. But the one thing I have learned myself is, because I have my own beliefs. I believe more things, some than others. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's not about what I believe, because I'm just an individual. I've got no access to special information. I'm not especially smart or anything like that. So it is just going, right, maybe somebody will come in one day and they'll share something, and that will be it. That'll be us. That's how we're going to learn, how we're going to grow. So I think it's important to let everybody share all of their ideas here as well. As always, exactly there. Flat Earth. Oh yes, I remember that, NG. I remember. And totally welcome. It's not not something I lean to, but that's just because I haven't heard, you know, the same sort of thing. I haven't gone down that sort of path, that journey, and maybe I would, with it all there. We tend to believe the things, obviously, we have evidence for. We have the story, we have the structure for our brain to work with, and just because we don't have the structure for something else doesn't mean that it isn't true. And that's the mistake that we make as humans. We go, well, that's not where my brain is, so it can't be true. That's a mistake science makes all the damn time. Well, we haven't looked at it yet, so it isn't true. That's not the same thing. It might not be, but we haven't looked at it. Is it there? James makes me watch Pacific Rim and A War of the Worlds like every day. He started to space there. Exactly, Rory. This is the thing, and this is what I've found is amazing about our community there. Like, you hear all these horror stories of online people and all this sort of stuff, and you know, but no, we've found that most people are just very open, are willing to come in, share their thoughts, which is actually an act of bravery. You know, sharing your opinions publicly is, you know, it's hard to do sometimes, but everybody's been absolutely amazing with it. And all we can do is offer up what makes sense to us. And, you know, so it's like the knowledge buffet. So, you know, we all bring a dish, but we don't force the vegans to eat the sausage rolls there. It's not evidence of stuff we're told. So, well, that's a very good point, because a lot of this stuff is presented, well, evidence is a tricky one, isn't it? Like the definition, some people take evidence to mean slam dunk, conclusive, but evidence can still be information that points towards something. So it doesn't have to be fully slam dunk, you know, but it's still technically evidence, but it isn't necessarily like the full-on thing. But a lot of the stuff science pushes forward, you know, when it comes to us as the general public, they push it forward as, oh, we've figured this out, this is where it is. But to themselves, it's, no, this is our best working theory. And I think we have to take it as such. There will be something that they can measure, you know, objectively, you know, and that is a fact. And then there is so much inferred based on that one, you know, the post-rationalization around an observation that they have measured to mean X, Y, and Z. And it's like, whoa, all of that inferred stuff, that isn't the same as the measurement that you've got there, guys. It's there as well. Southwest in a few minutes, Harco. ISS is coming. So southwest is going to be that way. Are we around that way? I think we're about southeast at the second. We might get a chance to see it there, Harco. Thank you for the heads up there. Where are we down here? He's coming to YouTube soon. Just wait, don't worry. We're looking forward to it. And they measure is the problem. Well, this is actually an interesting twist to it, you know, because all of our basis for science is based on our reductionist understanding of the universe, that there is an objective reality that we can measure. And the more we're looking at it, the more that is actually in question. I mean, just the quantum world stuff is throwing all those things out. So it might be fundamentally very, very different. You know, it might not be what we are measuring is the fundamental baseline layer of the universe there. And when I went to school there, we never did anything to do with space there, just lighting bloody quavers on fire. I can't tell you anything I did in school. Absolutely waste of bloody time that was. And most people I know as well. The only thing we can measure is what we see with our eyes. Well, we can measure other things. We can actually measure other things. They can get very clever with it as well, but it is still more limited than they would have you believe there. And even our eyes, though, they aren't objectively true. They are still a sensor that our brain is processing. They can still be tricked. We tend to think, don't we, that we are inside our heads with a window that looks out in the world, but it's not quite true. You know, we've got all these sensors on the outside, and our brain creates what this world looks like. This is a VR simulation that we're seeing, you know, based on the sensor input, and that's when things go a bit crazy. Where do we get to over on the tubes, guys? Where do we get to down here? Marcus, how are we doing? Feed him there. 103 degrees there when you go for Rendlesham. Oh my god, 103. I'd like to be outside at that time. That actually might be the perfect time to do it. Jesus. Luckily, we're not as close as I would like to the Rendlesham Forest visit just yet, so maybe it'll be cold weather by the time we go there. Probably right in the middle of rutting season for the deers there. And James there, I want to see a UFO there. I hope I get to see one. We do get to see quite regularly anomalous things. Now, they're not necessarily the sexy saucer that flies across the screen, but we do see things that act very strangely. Now, what we can do down here is we can filter out planes, aircraft, satellites, shooting stars. There are ways that we can do that with a reasonable degree of confidence, and then we're left with, well, that was strange, but what the hell is it? So, you know, normally we get some activity at least once per stream. In fact, if it happens once, it normally happens twice or 3 times. But we'll have to see how the night goes. Normally the skies are quite active, so you might be in luck there. Ken, how are you doing? Sky anomalies remind us that not everything explained is impossible. Sometimes the horizon keeps its greatest mysteries just beyond our understanding. I love it. And what is the chances that we would even be able to perceive the full extent of reality? I think it's actually quite low. I mean, we know, as I said, that we only experience the 3 spatial dimensions. Forwards and backwards, left and right, up and down. We are 3-dimensional beings. We heavily suspect that there are other spatial dimensions out there. We haven't figured them out yet, but if they are out there, then we don't perceive them. So that is part of reality. We'll never be able to, not even just never be able to see or experience, but we'll never be able to conceive of it. You know, anything outside of maths, which is just mind-blowing. Keep looking at exactly Simonsy there. I had to phone base yesterday. A drone over the back. Oh, you had to call it in there because somebody was flying it over. Oh, naughty, naughty. And what's the purple object there, Grandmaster? Right, I'm going to zoom in on it. That is
Zoom mode activated.
Vega. Let's get a star. It is 26 light years from us here on Earth. So a big ball of I don't know what it actually is made of there, but a big fusion reactor in the sky there, possibly got its own planets in orbit around it there, which is cool to think, but it is much larger than our sun, our star, the sun there, burning hotter and brighter, so it won't last as long, we don't think, but it's about 26 light years. So if right now we saw a UFO travelling at the speed of light towards us from that star, its journey would take 26 years. Relative to it, not to us, but that's a different thing there. It's not the bank holiday, is it there? I don't know. We're not planning. We haven't booked in the Rendlesham one yet. Evening, Rich. How are we doing, wise man? And, who was the pilot? Fred Elliott there. Or wasn't it Jesse Marcel who handled the Roswell material, which was then later replaced? Yes, Jesse Marcel. Was he the communications officer or something like that for it there? He came out in later life. He's the one you see posing with all of the material, the debris from Roswell, which is apparently just normal debris that's been replaced. So they have actually traced the debris that is shown in that image, the public released image, to say, oh, it was just a weather balloon, guys. It wasn't actually a weather balloon. They've traced it to a military radar reflective kite. They've traced all the parts and then the components to it there. So it wasn't even what they were lying about saying it was. But Roswell is a very, very interesting one. Can you imagine one day, guys, if we get very, very lucky, we'll do a live Skywatch right from the Roswell crash site. I'd love to get my hands on the ground there. Good. A spot in there, Marcus and Amelia. Sorry, I'm so far behind there. And does it Pate with Randy? How are you doing? Any UFO satellite? Not yet. Not yet. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled. We are starting to lose that beautiful blue colour there, which means that the... let me just turn my settings up a little bit so we can see more of those distant stars. There we go. So that means the sun is almost fully around now, so we're going to be able to see more objects. Look, there we go. We can already see 2 moving through down it. 3, actually. Look, 3 faint ones are there coming in the screen. Now, just because we can only see 3, there are a lot more. They're just not at the right angle to catch the sun. There, C2, a flash. Right, oh, I didn't see anything in C2. Right, I'm going to keep my eyes up there. We want to see a repeat as well. So flashing can be interesting. It can be man-made satellites, but if we see it repeat, that's when things start to get interesting there. Oh, send the links there so you can see what I saw the other day. If you want to check it, 100% Lucy. Was that on our Discord? I want to check that one out. So thank you for sharing that one. Your experience, that was really cool there. And is he coming to you? I don't know. And eat those sausage rolls, vegans. Exactly. Force it down their throats. And the Men in Black Men in Black would come get you. This kind of thing years ago, and maybe they still do there, depending on what scene. I do think it is quite possible that the Men in Black were a real thing. It makes sense that have people out there kind of keeping people stum. In fact, we've heard some people that claim to have had that experience in this town as well after some of the events that were witnessed around here. And I do tend to believe them in the way they were described. I think what we're doing here tonight, it's easy for them to write that off. I think it's going to be the whistleblowers they're probably more after now there. Oh, ISS is coming, is a 23:32 also a minute ago. Must be out of the range for it there, but thank you for the heads up, Harko. And science is telling the most plausible story based on the best evidence currently available there. And science is a field of discovery and constant updating there. Nobody's saying that anything is written in a stone there. Paint of Mandy, 100%. Well, the first part, 100%. That's exactly what it is. But the second part is that they don't act scientifically. How do I describe this? So they'll come into a conversation, a lot of mainstream scientists will come into a conversation like this, and they will come in saying, we don't have evidence for this, so therefore it is not true. What they should be saying is that we do not have evidence, or they do not have evidence for this, and therefore we can't say anymore. That's the thing. It's like they're getting involved. They're stretching beyond their remit, because you say science is built on the next tiniest step. It's built on what is known to the next thing, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. But science is absolutely useless in telling you what might be out there and telling you where to look in general. It's no good at that. It's a very precise tool on incremental based things. In fact, science, the direction is set not by science, the direction is set by culture and philosophy and things like that. Science is a scalpel, which is great if you're performing surgery, but if you're trying to get your way through a jungle, you need a machete, and that's when things like philosophy, art come in there. They set the overall agenda for these things. And so scientists, they don't like to stay in their domain with these things. They like to kind of come out, and you see it. Not all scientists, it is a bit of just sweeping, but how the attitude is there. They act on on faith, basically. If something is out there, then what science would tell us. And I think the big clue to this is that we still get scientists coming through going, there's no evidence for alien life. There's no evidence for alien life, which is a very unscientific statement. It shows the bias. And what they mean is there is no conclusive proof at a scientific level of alien life that we are aware of. And that is a fair enough statement. But that's not what they're saying. They're using that to shut down conversation, whereas there is lots of individual cases of evidence. And what they fail to say is that our technology is the thing that's preventing us from confirming it. And like one of the best examples is the radio SETIs things that we do. So when we're doing our signal hunts there, big dish, point to the night sky, listening out for potential alien radio signals. Well, the SETI organizations, various other radio telescopes throughout the years have detected a number of really, really, really interesting anomalous radio signals. They look technological, they look like a non-organic radio signal, they appear to be coming off of Earth, but they'll get these signals in, and if they can't get a second detection of that signal, then they can't say it's alien, right? And that's fair enough. You want to make sure that the dish itself, there isn't an error there, there's nothing in between it, a satellite passing by maybe emitting the signal there, but then they don't come out and go, oh, that's anomalous, but we don't know. They come out and say, it's probably man-made interference, and then they chuck it on the bin. Like, I'm not even joking here. Like, they don't keep it open until somebody else can confirm it. They go, well, we can't confirm it, so it's most likely Earth-based interference. That's not science. That's bias there. They should be holding those things open until we have the technology to do it. And you think, well, you know, surely if they went out and got a second detection and it wasn't there, that's good enough to write it off. The problem is they can wait 20 years before they check for that second detection. It isn't done in real time. So there's lots of reasons why there wouldn't be that activity going on. So this is the thing. They overstep their bounds of what can be explained within the community. Science is a real big problem of that at the minute with it there, and I'm sure scientists are as curious about aliens and UFOs as anyone else there. They're just not willing to say there's UFOs out there without convincing evidence. I think some of them are more open, but like I've seen literally, like, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson laughing at the concept of these things, and it's like, we're not saying you have to believe, but the potential, you know, you can't write all these things off, and you can't come out with statements that there is no evidence, because that's not true. There are lots of individual cases of evidence that could be pointing towards that. We just can't confirm it because we don't have the resources and the technology to confirm it. And that's not the same thing as the evidence didn't hold up to scrutiny. You know, that's the... You know, if somebody said, right, we've got your DNA on the murder weapon, and I go, all right, send it off to the lab, confirm it's my DNA. And they went, oh, we can't afford to send it off to the lab. You know, you can't just, you know, go based on that. And that's kind of what science is doing at the minute. And hello from Houston there, Cheryl. How are you doing? How are your skies in Houston there? And I asked one of the servicemen what they thought of the drones over Leganif, where he said they honestly don't know. And that is interesting that they don't know. Yeah, get the fingers on the pulse there, the guys on the ground. Is it still going on there? And James there. Oh, he can see your messages. See my messages now. I can see it over here now, James. I'm going through from A to B. So I'm across 2 chats tonight. It takes me a second. I'm currently working my way through the YouTube. I'll be back over to the TikTok momentarily. It is warm in here. Sure, so you are messages. What's that? You always patient because the live is running them up. Thank you, Harko, for confirming that one there. Yeah, we're across multiple screens there. They're so far away. These distances are so incredibly vast. But I mean, 26 light years. We take Vega here. 26 light years from us here on Earth. Again, you wouldn't want to walk here, but it's not actually that far in space terms. Our closest neighbour is about 4.2 light years away. So we're talking like, you know, the next street across in space terms. Not far at all, whereas some of these can be like thousands, hundreds of thousands of light years away. It's like ridiculous, the distances that are involved. And did we ever really see an alien? And are they like the Xeno thing? So we don't, there's no official account. There's lots of people do speculate there, James, that, you know, that maybe the US government or various governments have had, you know, some captured aliens. They've got more experience than they're letting on, but officially no. But again, lots of individual people do report contact, various sorts, sometimes positive, sometimes negative. You know, you've heard about abductions and things like that, but they're not confirmed. They're individual people's stories. So we've not, as a culture, raised it all up to, oh, this is definitely true, and here are the specifics. We might be turning that soon. It does feel like the attitudes are changing, and maybe more people are ready to talk about those sorts of things, but a lot of what he's talked about are the greys. You've probably seen them in the films there, so not so much like Alien there, you know, the xenomorphs at the minute. But look, if space in the universe, our galaxy, is anything like us here on Earth, and probably by default we should imagine that it probably is going to be like here on Earth, then there's going to be species of every type, which way and wonder there. Evolution is a weird beast, and there's a lot more different environments out there that we can even conceive of. So evolution is probably going to make some very, very, very weird creatures. And if there's one, there's going to be more. And I once saw in a documentary that aliens come from Orion's belt and the planet, was it Alhim? And they aren't friendly. I've heard something around Orion's belt is one that does come up in culture a lot of time. There's a few different star clusters. This is what's interesting. It's normally the star clusters, which is what we can normally see with our eye here on the ground, that, you know, through various ancient cultures and religions, they talk about the soul going back here, or maybe there's beings or deities from this particular cluster. And you wonder, didn't you, that, you know, maybe they didn't have the language for the time, but are they pointing to something there? And look, if there's going to be good aliens, there's probably going to be bad aliens too. Again, it's going to be a varied in the same way that it's all mixed here on Earth there. And how are we doing, Pierre? as well. And why called flying saucers there? I think it's supposed to cook. So the actual name flying saucers come from, what was he? There was a chap, he was flying a plane. Is it near Mount Shasta in the US? Just like the month before Roswell apparently happened. And, TikTok's having a sulk. Sorry, guys. That is a TikTok problem, though. It's not on here. But yeah, he saw these strange objects moving incredibly fast for the time, and he described them as skipping. They wasn't flying in a straight line. They were skipping, almost like if you're skimming stones on the water, or saucers. You know, you'd throw them like little frisbees and bounce across the water. And he described them as they're flying like flying saucers, and that kind of name stuck there. But interestingly, people do report literal, you know, a saucer as in a plate, you know, that's where that classic design comes from. But lots of things have been described over the years there, and the information came from an Area 51 employee, and they had gotten him drunk. So, now that, I don't know that particular case, but that is interesting, because I know old Bob Lazar, he's one of the most famous whistleblowers, and he claiming to have worked with all that stuff at Area 51, and he said that, you know, they were given a bit of a background. It wasn't that in depth, but they were given, you know, certain informations about the craft, where they may have come from and the beings and things like that. And he said he wasn't sure how much of that was true, because he knows that they would, you know, they do something, they put something in called passage material, and this is basically where they'll tell one person, oh, they come from a planet 100 light years away, right? Then they'll tell the next person they come from a planet 200 light years away, and then they'll tell the next guy they come from a planet 300 light years away. So if anybody ever leaks that information, or if it suddenly appears on the news, there's aliens and they're from a planet 200 light years away, they'll know who they told that detail to, and they'll be able to trace the leak back. So he said he wasn't sure that, and maybe the same would be true there, but maybe there's some truth to it all. Too many witnesses have sworn that they have had a visit by mysterious men in black, for it not to be credible. I think it's very credible that, you know, there would be organisations trying to keep things quiet. We know they do it with prosaic things anyway, you know, explainable man-made stuff. They're doing it all the time, so why wouldn't they do that with something a little bit more interesting like this as well? Pierre, loving the UFOs there. How are we doing? Nathan 2 there. What's the red glow in D1? Marcus, eagle eyes. So D1, is that one? Yeah. So that one, sadly, that one is a hot pixel on the camera. I think we've got another fainter one there. It's just the camera being, is that one? No, I think that is actually a planet, that one. There's a blue one here, it blends in with the background a little bit. But look, we've got so much activity on the screen tonight. Let's zoom in on this little one down here.
Zoom mode activated.
So we're going to see lots of moving objects. Oh, stop zooming in. Bloody thing. Lots of objects like this flying around, but for us to say that it is strange, that it is anomalous there, we need to see it stop dead, shoot off at speed, change its course or trajectories. It's just off screen there, because that behaviour cannot be done by all of the man-made satellites. That little shooting star, that's a bright one.
Zoom mode
yeah, that
activated.
It cannot be done by man-made satellites. That is stopping dead, shooting off at speed, changing its course or trajectory, and so it tells us for sure that it is something a little bit stranger. There's another nice one there. Keep your eyes on it as we zoom back out to there. So guys, if you are just joining us, we're doing our live UFO UAP Skywatch tonight, coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK. I said right in the heart of Crop Circle country, and just down the road from Stonehenge there. And D1, the red dot indigo as well. We just done that one there. You see it, everyone's at the red dot. I think we had a name for it last year. It changes in brightness, yes. That one is just a hot pixel, sadly. So if I move the camera, if I spin it around, it will stay in the same place. In fact, if we do that now, you'll be able to see where all of the little solid duff pixels are, because they'll all stay roughly in place. So we've got 3 or 4 on there at a second. Looks like we're going to warp drive, then we're doing that, isn't it? Where did we get to in the chat? There, feed him, Marcus, exactly. And I can show anyone, anywhere, all life UAPs are guaranteed 100% certified there. I like it. Whereabouts, you have said, Nathan, but whereabouts in the world are you there? Where are these sightings? Are they things you've collected yourself? And Neil Tyson is starting to believe that. I think he doesn't think they'll be humanoid like the Greys and stuff. So actually, he has just come round, which frustrates me, because he's been one of these people that has been belligerently against UFOs. Like, he's been rude and, you know, very dismissive of stuff previously. And now he is coming round. You're very, very right on that. I think he's releasing a book talking about the possibility of it. And a lot of people, I think himself included, would say, well, that's what science does. Given new information, we update. But that's letting them off too lightly, because the problem is science does update over time. but that's how efficient is that? You know, that's sometimes it can take 100 years. What are the things that you've missed? How much money have you wasted on pointless things because it's taken you so long, because you had to wait for an unreasonable amount of evidence before you changed your gear? What was it? There was the other day, there was, it was, well, one of these really, was it, what's the disease? I think, oh, it's Alzheimer's, that was it. There was a one paper, I think back in the late 90s, where this doctor, and he won the Nobel Prize for this, he proved that there was some sort of positive results with a certain type of drug removing what they thought were the plaque build-up in the brain that caused Alzheimer's, and won the Nobel Prize for it. And it's since come out recently that, no, he lied. It was bollocks. But since then, there has been billions and billions spent on research, however many tens of thousands of paper, all of that research and man hours, all the people that have gone through those trials had all that false hope there, and because it was based on a lie. And look, humans lie at the time, that's fair enough. Not every system is perfect, but science tends to think that it corrects itself much better. And if you're telling me there's been nearly a 30-year gap that it took you guys to realize there was a mistake, however much billions you spent on it, and all of those man hours and those people that went on trials, that's not an acceptable gap. That's not an efficient gap. That's not in the realms of being reasonable. That is, your system is pretty shit at correcting itself, and they'll go, oh, we always update. And it's, who was it that said that science doesn't progress one paper at a time, it progresses one funeral at a time. It's when the old scientists die that don't want to give up on their old ideas, their old dogma, and they're human. That's the problem, that they're human, and they need to recognize that they're human, and they're biased, and they don't want to realize they've been wasting their time on things. They're just like the rest of us, but they don't want to say that. They want to go, no, we're scientists, we think differently to that. And you go, you're human the rest of your life, mate. You've still got the same pressures, you've still got the same desire to want to go ahead. So until I think they can recognize their humanity, then we might actually get a bit more efficiency with it. But that's not to throw all science out. Science is brilliant. We wouldn't be here tonight, would we? I probably wouldn't be here, the amount of medication I'm on, without it. So it's not about throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but scientists, they want to be gods, and they want to be treated like it, don't they? Where are we? Down there. Space is not real, caveman. I think it's real. What do you think's out there? And where are we? And things there. Show the UFOs. I can't do it on command. We're just watching out. This is why it's a UFO hunt. So as I said, we're based right in the heart of Crop Circle country and just down the road from Stonehenge. There's lots of activities in this, guys. This is a great place to watch for it, but it is a hunt. You never know when they are going to appear. So we have to pay attention. We have to follow all of those objects as they move across the screen, because it just needs that last minute hesitation, change of course or trajectory, to prove to us for sure that it is something a little bit stranger indeed there. But yeah, it's participatory. You've got to do the work. You've seen some things here, there, less spectacular than what I can imagine. But this thing, there is going to be a lots of amazing things out there. That's a nice bright one, isn't it? Getting distracted there. Oh, the Thing Hunter, that was it there. I forget, Nathan, I remember you was on the thing. Yeah, so you're not too far from us at all. You're just up the road, aren't you, there? Oh, where are we? Do you want me to approve the talent there? Oh, I did check out some of your videos. I thought they're very good. There, and where are we? Kind of teacher. That's the problem with teachers as well. Don't get me started on that, Ran. And how often did you see a UFO on the screen during UFO Hunter Live? So that's a good question. It varies. We've had nights where we've seen more than 4 or 5, and by UFO we mean unidentified. It is acting a strange way that it doesn't fit into the satellite shooting star category there. It ranges. There's the slam dunk, which is that anomalous movement, that sort of stuff there, which is really unambiguous. And then there's this bigger middle ground where there are ways that it can be satellites, but it doesn't quite fit there, and you get the feel for it after a while. So we get this sort of middle ground, but yeah, they're definitely the old unidentified in what we're seeing up there, or UFO or UAP. I like UFO. Technically UAP is a more appropriate description, more appropriate term for the phenomena, but we're human again, and UFO is what most people know, and this is the thing, isn't it? Most people in the general public, it's UFO. And if we start using fancy terms, we're going to lose them. We've only barely just got some of their attention. Just there. Yeah. UFO in Orsini Marine there. It's a black triangle or red cube. Very, very interesting. I've not heard of the red cube one before there. And how you doing, Ghost? Good to see you in there. Oh, who wants to join out? I can show you via the live stream. I get my shit together. Now, Nathan, calm down. And I don't know how I do that, sadly. How do hope see one before we drift off there, Lucy? Well, it is getting darker. It is getting darker now. So hopefully there's more contrast. We should be able to see those objects moving a bit more. I might spin it around there. And I like UFO. I do. I'm a bit of an old school like that as well. I think a lot of people do. Right, I'm going to bounce back over to the TikTok. Where are we? Where do we get to in the chat tonight over there, guys? Sorry, I'm between two chats, so it takes me a minute to catch up. But do say hello as you're joining. Let us know where you're watching from, and if you've seen something strange there, I would love to hear about that whilst waiting for the action on screen. There's a nice movement right there. Keep your eyes on it. Eyes to the skies there. Right, where did we get to? Rory there. When I went to school there, we never did. Oh, no, did that one, didn't we? And we see a flat horizon. Depends on your altitude there. Isn't that relative to where you are? And it seems flat and non-moving to me. I love learning new things. So this is the thing. Is sometimes things aren't. Sometimes, you know, it's not an immediate as it appears. What's the terminology for that? You know, it's a little bit more. It's like when there's a bit of a delay in something. It's not like an immediate cause and effect. But you're right. You know, you do then start to rely on other people. You rely on, well, are they telling me what the right thing there? You know, you start to, and again, I haven't done a lot of these measurements and these tests myself, so I am relying on other people for those things. And it's about, where do we draw our lines of belief? How far will we rely on the establishment of science there? And where do we go, no, we don't believe it? I think it's very interesting where we individually draw those lines. Scrolling down here. Sorry, guys. I think, is it jumped ahead? No. Where are we? NG, and that is fine. That is 100% fine. And look, this is even if if there is an objective reality out there, if there is, then obviously one version is going to be the correct version versus the others, but we don't want everybody believing all of the same things all of the time, because then when it is inevitably wrong, we don't have any new ideas to then fix the problem with. It's like having, you know, an immune system. You know, the more people with different ideas and different ways of interpreting the problem, that's how our cultures survive, because there are things that never change, but actually most things are variable. Most things do change over time. You know, you might harvest a field for generations, and all of a sudden the weather in that part of the world, the climate can start to shift, and that field is no longer a viable option for your crops there. Nothing is set in stone, and that's what catches cultures out, because as we scale as a culture, we like efficiency. We like to do the same things over and over again. But what happens with that sort of stuff? You do the same things over and over again. That's a certain type of person that's good at that. And then when it changes, they don't have the skills to adapt, to figure out new things. So it's very important to cultures and societies to have the people out there that think differently. Even if they're not individually, all of them are not all going to be right, but you need them there, because you never know which one's going to be right at the right time. As well, have you seen an alien? I haven't, Rory. Sadly, I have, or not that I'm aware of anyway. I haven't seen one. Oh, it's always making me do that. Other than this one here. Saying that, we have seen things that aren't just on the camera here. You know, we were doing one of our live on locations once, and the more I think about it, the more weird it is. That was a flash just there. I think there was an orb up there on the hill with us one night. We didn't see it on the last time we went up there, but one time we did, and that was weird, because it's physically in the same space of us there. It could have been an optical illusion, could have been a weird positioning, but I'm still not fully on that one there, and DJ Lethal there, and Vega is primarily made of hot plasma, of hydrogen and helium. I love that one. So hydrogen as well there, excellent. And Vega mostly uses the cyanocarbon and nitrogen oxygen there cycle to turn hydrogen into helium. A good reactor in the sky there. I didn't know that one. Thank you, DJ Lethal there. Odron, how are you doing there? How'd you like the new bike? What's the new bike? And also, do I believe the Men in Black? But I believe it was a demons. I've heard there could be, a lot of people do reports in it that the Men in Black might not just be like a government department. So there's a little bit something weird about them, a little bit uncanny, maybe something more paranormal going on. Again, what do we know? Maybe there. But we don't, so we don't know there. So believing and knowing are, they very much are, but they're both essential. They are both essential mechanisms. This is what I've literally heard our good friend there, Neil deGrasse Tyson, say. I don't believe I know. I'm a scientist, so I go, I test, and I know things. And that's how we know that the man's a fool. Because belief and faith are essential parts of how we operate as humans. We need them to navigate the world. You can't know everything all the time for yourself. We don't have the calories, we don't have the time. You wouldn't be able to get on with anything. You have to, at some point, start to delegate some of that to the group, to the herd, to what other people are doing, just so you can get on with your day-to-day life. And the example I give is that I have faith roughly in the civil engineering degrees of the people that build the bridges that the train goes over that I get to work. You know, I don't get out, I don't stop the train, and I don't start testing the concrete, I don't start looking through the paperwork to see, you know, was this mix done correctly? You know, when was the last time this bridge serviced? Is there any cracks? I don't inspect it. I don't. I believe that most of the time they're going to do their jobs, and I believe that if they were so bad at doing their jobs that this bridge has a chance of collapse, then I would see other bridges collapse more often in the news, and I'd know that it's more of a light risk there. But I don't know that. I just believe, and I have faith in those things, and that's essential. We do it thousands of times throughout the day there as well. We can't know everything ourselves, and in fact, science is more of a religion itself. You know, if those scientists are going, well, I believe in science, I trust my fellow scientists are going to all be perfect all of the time, I trust that they're going to follow the scientific method. Well, unless you've done their experiments as well to confirm it, that's not a scientific statement. You know, you're believing in that, you're having faith in the process, the peer review process, you're having faith in the institutions to uphold that things are right. So faith and belief are essential tools for us to navigate the world. There. Where are we there? And what's the host doing? Is he providing a platform for discussion? As the other. Thank you there, NG. Yeah, that's I think what is right there, because ultimately I don't actually want you guys to necessarily come away thinking I'm right on these things. This is what's very, very important. Obviously, I think I'm right, but I don't know that I'm right. And I am a product of my education, my life experience, and none of that is anything particularly special there. So the best I can do is float these ideas. And a lot of the time you guys will come back, as you have done, and gone, what about this? And you go, oh shit, you know, that's a good point. But the idea is that if we're offering all of these things up on a voluntary basis, whatever we're all suggesting for everybody here, again, it's not about, you know, one belief winning out of another. It's can we help everybody weave together a structure of understanding about the universe and the world that is more real there? Can we take these individual components to make a structure that makes sense, that works more often than not if you apply it to the real world there? And look, if we constantly trying to push our beliefs on other people, we'll shoot ourselves in the foot, because if we're wrong and then you do get everybody to believe your shit, then we're all buggered, aren't we? You know, that's the thing. You know, you need to kind of like keep that little bit back there. Oh, D1, sorry Roy, I'm so far behind there. But it is interesting why we believe things there. Brittany, how are you doing? It's super clear tonight. It is, and we've been owed this one. It's been a few days where we thought it was going to be clear, but it hasn't been clear. And we've had to do some SETI streams, which is fun, but it's not quite as good as a lovely clear night sky. That's a nice one there. Very faint. We're going to have some good sightings over the summer. I'm expecting August, because August last year was the real great one. July was pretty good, and we're just getting into July now. But August was the real exciting time there. And X there, I've met and spoken to alien abductees and also spoken to an exorcist. So lots of interesting points there. But the abductees I find really, really interesting, because we've had, out of all the people that have come into this community and shared their experiences, abductions are very, very rare. I think I've had 2, maybe 3 people, and one of those was on the stream and the other one was messaged privately, because you know, they're a bit sensitive about it, and understandably so. So is it that these are potentially quite distressing experiences for people, so they don't want to share? Is that why we're not hearing as much of it? Is it that phenomena is going to be a smaller chunk of it there? It's very interesting, especially when you talk about what they experience in those abductions there. John, thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us from there? Adam coming in with the shares. Guys, it is those likes, the shares, the tapping away, all that jazz that helps us reach more and more like-minded people there like yourselves. And the more eyes and minds we get on the old phenomena, the more we can all piece this puzzle together there. It's starting to warm up again. It's a little bit warmer than I'd have liked today there, Adam. And the red thing just moved. Your brother showed, really? Was it when it should be the pixel, so it's only when we move the camera, so it shouldn't move because it should be the pixel. If we move it again, tell us if it's this red thing, right? If I move it this way, they should stay stationary because they're on the sensor rather than when we move the camera. So did it move again then? Where are we? Oh, and it sounds silly to me with the distance quoted. So, well, this is the thing, you know, nobody's gone out there with a tape measure. You know, we're relying on the science and the maths and the fundamental understandings here. How likely is it that, you know, we're anywhere near accurate of a lot of this stuff? I don't know. The way we should really be viewing, you know, the established mainstream understanding of these things is this is our best guess. And when we encounter the areas in which that it doesn't work, then that's when we look to improve it, you know. But until then, it's going to be our best chance to function believing these things. But we probably need to separate what is objectively right and what is objectively not right, you know, there. Until what is objectively right and wrong versus what is something functional to help us go through the world. What is a working, a living, a document, essentially. Well, it's not measurable, not physically, but there are ways that they are measuring it, but it is their understandings correct with that. They can do things with radio frequency, with the signals, with the light that's coming in. There's certain characteristics of the light that does tell them sort of distance and things like that. But that is on the assumption that they are correct with their initial predictions like that. So if they've got that first principle wrong, then those measurements won't be, will they? Won't be right. And Ben, how are you doing there as well? Just information regurgitation. That does happen. This is a very, very, very good point, NG, because what was it they were talking about earlier? Somebody scientists, but essentially there was like a crap theory. I can't remember what it was in there, probably to do with physics still. It was a crap theory, but they kind of just pushed it because it's the best one they had at the time. But all the scientists were like, it's not very good, but we're going to work with it. And then what happened was all of those scientists kind of died out and aged out, and they hadn't got a better theory. So the next generation of theoretical physicists were applying this theory, but from the understanding that this is the theory, this is most likely correct, because all the old ones that knew it was crap had died out. It was just their culture to keep perpetuating it, and they didn't go back and question it. And I thought that was hilarious. I can't tell if it's moving. I swear it moved. Keep an eye. I'll have to have a look on the replay though, Rory. Can you keep up the good spotting? It might have done. I'll have to have a look. No human mind can comprehend these unlikelies. We could do the numbers. We understand what the numbers mean, but to fully comprehend it, to actually appreciate what that actually means in those scales, like, no, we can't get a feeling for it. It's like when they say there's billions of stars, you know, more stars out there, more galaxies than there are grains of sand. You go, what? I know the words, but I can't feel that. I can't picture it. There. How you doing, TC Ball, as well there? And Tap Chat Juice, I appreciate that. Again, it is the likes and shares, the tapping away that helps us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves. So the more eyes and minds we get on the evidence there on the screen, the more we can all piece this puzzle together there. He's a actor on the world stage. I think so, NG. I think that's probably a good way of doing it there. If they lie to us once a lie, they will. They're just imperfect humans like the rest of us there. I will get over to YouTubers in a bit there. I'm just in the TikTok chat at the second there. And Agent, thank you for the rose there. It's very, very kind of you. It all goes back into the stream. At the minute, it's going into, we're saving up to, that's a nice bright one. We're saving up to take the show on the road. Do a live Skywatch from old Rendlesham Forest there. Now, we need to see these objects that we're seeing like that tonight. But we want to follow them on the screen make sure that they don't, well, we really want to see them stop dead short for speed, change their course or trajectory. That will tell us for sure that they are a little bit stranger than one of those many man-made objects up there. There. Just got a few on the screen there anymore. That's all. There's one there in the middle. Where did we get to? Let's have a look. But exactly. Where are we getting to? Maybe we're the aliens. There's a good possibility. There's a good possibility that life did not originate here on Earth. There. It's relative. Relativity is an interesting one. I will give, but I do lean more to that as a good theory. Again, it's not going to be 100%, but it's possibly the best version we've got at the minute there. Frenchie, how you doing there? Not everything is as we perceive it to be. 100% there. You know, this is. Remember, our brains are not designed to present you with a realistic version of reality, whatever that may be. They're designed to give you just enough information so you don't die, but also you do nothing extra, because that's wasted calories, which then also means you might die. So it is the bare minimum there. The sensor suites that we have evolved, you know, the light that we see and the bits that we don't, the sound frequencies we hear and the bits that we don't, only to just enough to keep us alive. Not, it's like with your pictures and images there. If you're a photographer, you've probably heard of like raw files, so, or JPEG. So JPEG is what we're all familiar there. That is the encoding type for images, and it means that basically it does not save the image as is. It just saves just enough of the information, just of the color of each pixel, just enough to reproduce that image so you recognize as that. But it's not the raw, it's not all of the detail that was captured. And the brain is very much like that, looking to save space wherever it is there. How you doing, Robert? As well there, good to see you in there. Oh, hi, Alan. Drewski says, hello, Alan. And Tyson never travelled 93 million miles to the sun, so he doesn't know. I mean, I'm a fan that I think you can measure these things indirectly, but it does, as you're right, it does put in more opportunities for that to be wrong. You know, we can only measure the best and to the accuracy of the equipment that we have at the time, and that's never going to be 100%. Science is a religion, 100%. They treat science like religion. And Agent Doggett there, and what do you think to the new Steven Spielberg film there? Do you think he knows more than he can say? Probably there. That's what I had in my head, this disclosure day. I was going into seeing that film with the thought of, right, okay, what information, if he's had the tap on the shoulder, what information is in there that they want us to know? What is he trying to say in that? And then I came out of it, I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would, but I came out of thinking that he didn't need to have a tap on the shoulder. What the message for me from the film was that we need that actually we'll be all right. And I think that's kind of what he was saying. He was saying that to us as individuals, that look, if they do come out of it, lads, you'll be all right. It's not the end of the world. But saying that to the higher ups, the people in power as well, that, you know, we can handle it. That's kind of how I took it from there. But I mean, I'm open. I think Hollywood has been used, you know, to seed certain things. We know that for sure. And why would it not be the case with the UFO stuff? How did you feel about it there? And we are meant to have a heat wave again next. Oh my god, not another one as well. Frenchie there is so much more out there than our brains are able to compare. Far more. We've only developed the ability to just survive, you know, let alone comprehend the full range of reality there. Do you think disclosure will happen in the next 10 years there, Agent? There is a possibility, but I don't think disclosure is a binary yes or no. Like, I think it is. Disclosure is, you know, the official stamp on certain parts, but there's various degrees of it, isn't there? There's life out there. There may be life has visited us, and then there's multiple lives that's visited us, you know. So it's hard to say, but I do think we're gonna lock in. I do feel pretty soon that, you know, we are gonna lock in that there is other life out there, and good chance it might be visiting us. I don't think it'll go that full on straight away. I think they'll go that it's possible for it to be visiting us, or to maybe have visited us, but not kind of lock it in, leave it a bit ambiguous at the minute there. How you doing, Beardhead there? What's the 0027? Is that the pound shop version of Bond? Where are we then? Humans apparently carry an alien blood group, which is the very rare group. I think it's RH negative or something, I've heard. That one, maybe there's an interference. There's got to be a reason why all of the alien encounters, if they are real, they look very humanoid. You know, they look far too close to us that you would think evolution would have come up with on a distant planet there. So maybe there is a relation to it there. And I'll say good night there. Well, thank you, NG. I hope we'll catch you in later there. I'm loving the topics discussed there. So very welcome in. All right, I'm going to bounce back over to the tubes now. You guys have been patiently awaiting there. Where did we get to? Where did we get to? Oh, where did we get to? Sorry, guys. I love how you read and reply the comments there. I'm really happy I found this, or happy we found you there, Lucy, and very, very welcome in there, especially with sharing the stories as well. This is the thing, my favourite part, I do like looking at the night sky, and we do see some very interesting things, but I do have a big screen here, so the really obvious stuff I will catch. But the thing that has changed my understanding the most about the phenomena is hearing from hearing all of you guys. So I don't actually want to miss. That's why it takes me a while to get through them, because I really do want to hear all of your thoughts, and just particularly your experiences with it, because coming into this, I thought the phenomena was much, much rarer than it appears to be, but so many of you guys are having such regular encounters, and we're seeing some strange things ourselves here on the stream, that this isn't anywhere near as rare, and that's kind of muddled up all of my presuppositions of what might be going on. I've had to throw them all away because there's just so much activity going on there. How long is it on for there? Totally going to fall asleep to this one. It's surprising how many do there, Lucy, and you're very welcome to do that one. So we're normally on, if it's a Skywatch, possibly until 1 AM. So we try and do that at least 2 hours for a stream, but it's weather dependent there. But we are getting on slightly earlier now. The nights are starting earlier ever so slightly, so we'll be increasingly earlier as the weeks go on. But you're very, very welcome in there. Hope you see one before you drift off there. I'll shout really loudly and wake you up there. And I like UFO over 100% there. And it totally makes sense. The more I think they only changed it because they can't bear to admit that they exist. Actually, yeah, maybe that is the thing. We're not saying UFOs exist, we're saying UAP exists. It's the little other technicalities so they can hold on to some shred of dignity. And Ghost there, the man is at the very beginning of his own ghostly after realm for when Peter's ear was cut off in the garden, and then the ghosts have seen them. Oh, I'm not sure on that. I've not even heard the story of Peter. Is that a Christian story? Do tell us more on that one. And do satellites fly? Well, it's a good question. Well, they're not really flying, are they? Because the flying's within the atmosphere, and these things are, technically space, aren't they? They're in low Earth orbits. It gets to be a bit of a grey area, doesn't it? So therefore, I always think of them as falling to Earth. So not quite flying. But maybe there is a technicality on that one. Satellites fall with star. Exactly, there we go, Dad. That's a better way of putting it. And there are many things seen up there that are not flying there. UAP makes the most sense to me. And there are lots of things up there. I mean, firstly, there was a lot more man-made things up there than I expected. So we have those. But yeah, look, for example, let's zoom in on this one, right?
Zoom mode activated.
As we can, looking at this night now, whatever that is, probably again a man-made satellite. There's just statistically, there's a hell of a lot of them up there, so that's what it's going to be. But they're flying around up there. Look, they're reflecting the same way. Look, they're reflecting that light back down to us here on Earth, in the same way this is reflecting that light back to you on the camera. There. But exactly what we're observing now, and we're writing down as a satellite, a man-made object flying around up there, has been seen many times before man had shit up there in space. So we can't say for sure conclusively either which way, and this is where bias comes in. So I'm a UFO guy. Oh no, that's the wrong way, computer. Wrong fucking thing. Sorry, guys. Bloody Zoom. So yeah, as a UFO guy, I'd prefer it to be an alien. But if we say, well, we can't say it's anything, so we'll assume it's a UFO. That's a bias to UFOs there. But what the general public would do is they'll go, well, it's probably a satellite, isn't it? That's not a scientific statement. That is a bias there. Now, it's probably the definition there. But leaning going, it's a satellite without evidence there, because things like this were seen before that as well. So they're not all conclusive satellites. In fact, there was a scientific paper that was out, is it last year now, on objects basically that were caught in photographic plates in the night sky taken by a number of observatories, you know, basically doing an all-sky survey, taking these images, old school photographs on metal plates basically of the night sky, and they would take 2 images an hour apart of the same patch of sky, and in a lot of the plates they've run them through AI. There are stars in one, and then an hour later those stars aren't there. And they are aligned apparently with the shadow of the Earth. So when the shadow of the Earth is round, so the sun's gone further around, so it's more of a shadow, they see less of these stars disappearing than they would on the other side. So it looks like, again, these are objects just like what we're saying are satellites in low Earth orbit, reflecting that sun's light back down. They were caught there, and when that paper came out, all the scientists went, well, it's just satellites, isn't it? And they went, look at the date, look at the date. Oh, it was 5 years before anything man-made was up in orbit. You know, and then that was it. Nobody said anything, because yeah, there are lots of strange things up there. We just can't be sure. And what's that? AFC there, how are you doing there? I live 3 minutes from Warminster there and have had sightings of UFOs on Clay Hill. AFC, please tell me that you're still in. Sorry it's taking me so long to get around, because this is again my favourite things, hearing, especially local as well. Can you tell us more about those sightings? Because that is absolutely amazing. I haven't done a Skywatch on Clay Hill yet, but it is on our list. It is one of the Iron Age hill forts that surrounds the town. Lots of historic sightings there. 23 miles from Stonehenge. It's not too far, is it? Just as the crow flies. I mean, you've got a Salisbury Plain in the way. Wouldn't want to walk it. And how many satellites had many satellites are visible? A few weeks ago, they're travelling in straight lines in the sky above Frome. Oh, Frome, you are very down the road there. Some of that 3 minutes from Warminster, Clay Hill there. Sightings in the past and visible from your window. Lots of man-made objects flying around up there as well. So these sightings that you had, please tell me you're still in, because I want to hear about these. What did you see when you were up there? And once I saw what was, and it wasn't Clay Hill, it was Battlesbury, a different hill fort, but on the other side of town. So I wonder if you've had a similar one. It was this bright white light, and I thought there was a dog walker with one of those LED headlamps up on top of the hill with us, walking towards us, because it was kind of moving in that sort of, it was on his head, up or down a little bit like that. And I kept my eye on it. It was like, it's a bit late, but maybe we look weird to them, so maybe they'd come in and have a look at what we're up to. So I had my eye on it like that, and then it appeared to be coming closer and closer, and then it would just disappear like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? And when you're up there, you've got a brilliant commanding view of everywhere around. It's a flat-ish hilltop there, no trees, no ridges. You just see all of the area surrounding yourself. And you can see the cars in the distance cresting hills and their headlights flashing. You can see other people's spotlights coming on down in the town around you there, and all sorts of, you know, street lights and things like that. So it didn't look like anything like that. And the position as well, it was over Salisbury Plain there. There wasn't anything but up. So it was really weird. It didn't fit anything explainable, but might have been. There, have you seen anything there? How you doing, Tank? There, so Skywatch is in. Skywatch in Czech Republic there. Great camo, the zoom there. It's a good position there. And I reckon I've seen on all objects with tons of archive. Tank, don't advertise other people's streams like that. I know. I think I know the one you're on about, but I haven't seen the tracking. Can you actually link me to that one though? Because I'm curious to see what that one is, because there is is it maybe, because I've seen Skywatchers, but I haven't seen any tracking or zooms, and I thought they were in the check there, but if it's a different one, I'll check it out there. The town is used to Frome, is it? It's the posh bit there. All tips and tactics, thank you, Tank. Yeah, I haven't seen if it's the one I'm thinking of, I haven't seen the zoom or the tracking, but I would like to know that one. I'll have to have a look there, Tank. Thank you for the heads up there. B4, sorry, I'm so far behind. Sorry, guys, they're 45 minutes from videos and spooky mysteries from space. I'll make you believe in aliens. Oh, Clay Hill, Warminster has had sightings in the past. I live 3 minutes. Yeah, so it has. Clay Hill is one of the hotspots. Cradle Hill is one as well. And I was a bit surprised. When we went to Cradle Hill, it's not like Clay Hill or Battlesbury, which are big obvious hills. This is more like a country lane at the top of a hill, and it's got trees in it. This wasn't a very good hot, but apparently that was a hotspot of lots of activities back in the 60s and 70s there. But I've not done Clay Hill myself yet there. And where are we there? Evidence suggests that UFOs are not of extraterrestrial ordinance there, Pierre. Well, that could well be the case. It could well be the case. Maybe it's more likely. I do think that some of it probably will be. I just think it's a numbers game. The universe has been around a long time. We now know there's other planets, and there's probably a lot of life out there, so there's got to be at some point. But maybe a lot of the phenomena that is reported now, like, you know, the lights in the sky, the movement there, could be the plasmoids, could be sentient life that has been with us here the whole time. Extra dimensional, the time angle, Pierre, could well be there. Oh, where are we down there? Oh, what's that? Well, so far behind. Sorry, guys. Alleged extraterrestrial was spotted walking along a river in Bolivia. I want to see that video, though. And if you Google Clay Hill, you'll see the previous sightings in the past there. And I see Clay Hill out. You can see it from your window. Oh, that's pretty cool. I go by it on the track. I can't see it from here, where we are in the town. But I go by it on the track. It just sticks out. It's amazing, isn't it, out there? What's up, Alan there? Hi, Tank. And still... Where are we there? Let me through. I saw the UFO a few days ago, so very, very recently there. And Tank, most are satellites. Most are going to be. Just statistically, that is the most things that are there. I think 15,000 man-made satellites are up there active at the minute. So it doesn't include the dead ones, although it will be a smaller number there. Doesn't include the space junk and all the other stuff like that flying around. So if there is going to be more alien stuff up there than there is going to be man-made stuff, then that is going to be a disappointment, sadly. You know, we're not going to disappoint me. It'll be a bit dangerous, you know. There's more alien stuff up there than there is the man-made satellites and or whatnot. So yeah, you're right on those ones. What is that keeps flashing up on my screen? That's a big square thing. That's like I have to look into that one. I keep seeing it out of the corner of my eye. There. And Living Light, how you doing? I heard that they shut down CERN. Took place on June the 29th. It could have a positive effect on Earth. Oh god, jumped ahead, sorry guys. Where is it? Where has it gone? Sorry, Living Light, it was reading that halfway through. There it is. And it could have a positive effect on Earth's energy grid there. Have they turned it off to do some work and expand it? Because I heard they were trying to make it larger, which is frustrating. I think, again, it's a waste of money. It's a waste of money, the particle colliders now. Alan's a cock there. He nipped my Space Raiders. That's Alan. That is Alan through and through. You've got his number. Extraterrestrial files there. The US Pentagon releases new videos of the unidentified phenomena. Have they released another drop yet? We've had 3 that I'm aware of. And I think they're easing us into it. They're warming us up. Don't know if we'll get the good stuff, but... it's interesting that it is being recognised that they are calling it, there's a nice one there, keep your eyes on that, that they are actually taking it seriously in these sorts of senses now. That is very, very different to how it has been before. Shifting poles are definitely messing with our weather. This is another angle there. The poles are definitely moving. Trump is going to release the documents on UFOs. We're hearing the rumours. I don't think we can take it for granted, but it does feel like it's possible. It's an exciting time, isn't it there? Look at this one. It's a bit more orange than the ones we've seen previously. Again, that in itself doesn't mean that it is 100% anomalous, but it is worth following. As I zoom out, computer, Jesus. So I'm getting hot and frustrated with it there. All the files will never be released in public domain there because of shapeshifters. Well, could be part of it as well. I don't think they'll ever release all of it, but I do think that they have to release some of it. I think why we're getting the disclosure commentary that we are getting at the minute is mostly because the old story just doesn't hold up. It doesn't hold water anymore. You know, they don't have the narrative control that they did over the media and stuff like that. More people, just like what we're doing here tonight, we're all connected. We're all observing the sky live, and therefore something happens, we see it together. They can't just, you know, tell one person to shut up now. And I think because of that, yeah, they're having to just release a little bit each time just to keep the narrative, okay, you know, change it, right, okay, maybe there is something there, lads, but, you know, and then eventually we'll get a lot more out there. But I don't think they'll ever want to release all of it, and we can't take it for granted there. There's definitely something already out there. What's that one? Which one? Who's Lucy? Is Lucy the what's it called? The Czech Skywatch one. Is that one there? Yeah, is it the same? Is it just Skywatchers? Is that the name of it, Tank? Because if it's the one I've seen, it's just a static camera. But I want to check out one. If there is good tips, then I do want to check it out. Where are we? And Bigelow in America has more information about space and UAPs. They definitely do. They definitely do, AFC. And what would happen if aliens arrived tomorrow? Or, well, if they arrived, the stereotypical White House lawn sort of thing. It depends, doesn't it? It depends if they arrive shooting. Depends if they arrived and they looked like giant spiders. That would shit people up. I think there's various degrees. The key is going to be whatever it means, how different is that reality from our existing one, because that's going to be the difference between how things are now and what people's reaction be. If they come back to a moment, there's life out there. There are planets that we've detected with life that's got cities on these distant planets, but they're too far away. People go, oh, that's interesting. No worries there. Whereas if they go, there's a battleship on its way to us now, that's going to be very different. Therefore, there's going to be a lot more people being upset about it. So it varies. That's a nice steady one there, a little bit brighter. Keep your eyes on that one. The spiritual world says that open contact with aliens is inevitably coming in 2027 and will be viable to more people than before. And if something like that happens, they won't be able to keep that under wraps. That is literally power to the people with that. How to go there, and I might wait up and definitely shout just in case. I'll press one of my buttons. Maybe Alan, can you do it?
It's me, Alan.
No, can you?
The real star of the show.
Yes, we know, Alan. Can you just let Lucy know if we do see something? D4, Amelia, good spotting there. In 1977, we received a message from space, and was never repeated. That was the WOW signal, wasn't it? And it was a signal. We don't know if it was a message. The technology that detected the WOW signal, again, it was very simple. It didn't record enough data around it. It's not like when we do our SETI streams there where we can potentially see all of the message. Back then it was just like, there is a signal, that it's strong, and it's coming from this part of the sky. So we don't know if there was a message in the WOW signal. It wasn't recorded, so we'll never know. But the fact that there was what looked exactly how we would expect an alien radio signal to look like, not coming from this Earth, that in of itself is a message, that hey, we're out here. All of a sudden there. Good spotting there, Lucy there. Was that Yev there as well? There's no shades in a disclosure there. It's either greys or 50s. What's that? Greys or 50s? What's 50s there? But this, I don't think we can be too binary with this. This is the thing. Like, if there is another form of life out there, which is incredibly likely, then it's equally as likely that it's going to be many more. Space is vast with various different environments there, which is going to all mean that evolution has a different roll of the dice for each one of those. There are going to be, if there's one, there's going to be loads of things, just like the phenomena overall. Like, one explanation isn't going to explain everything that we see here. There's probably a few things that are going on at once, again, all to various degrees. There might be one major part of this, maybe the closest by civilization we see the most. That makes a bit of sense, doesn't it? Not necessarily, but there's going to be multiple things that are going on. Good spotting, Lucy. Sorry I'm so far behind that one. And breaking news there, that NASA scientists believe extraterrestrial civilizations exist in the Milky Way, but they do. Civilizations, I've not heard from them, but the mainstream belief now from astrobiologists, the people that are looking for this shit, is that life is abundant out there, is that it's absolutely everywhere. The main reason that science was hesitant around this, and why a lot of scientists will still go, we don't know, in a smug way that they do, is because we didn't actually know that there were other planets around all of these other stars that we're seeing. And now we have the technology. We are starting to be able to detect those other planets, the exoplanets in orbit of these stars. Okay, it's just a numbers game then. Life is going to be abundant. Again, the reason they go, where's all the aliens? Well, we don't actually have that good technology to really check for these things. And when we are looking, when we did develop radio technology, we started hearing strange signals that we couldn't explain. We couldn't explain. And when we got, very, very strong optical telescopes there, and we did these long deep field surveys, we were noticing stars that were dimming in ways that we have no idea how they can do that without a technological explanation. We are now starting to check those atmospheres, those distant planets, and it's looking like there's gases on those planets that is only produced by life as far as we know. Well, we can't confirm these things 100%, but it's an indicator. It looks like there is so much going on there. And do extraterrestrials exist there? We asked an episode there. Mexican pilot accounts today how the UFO took control of it. I heard that one, yeah. They're very good there. No, sorry. I was being funny, Tank. Don't worry. I was being funny. But is it that one? Because I did see them and I scrolled through it and I like the lens. It's, I started giving me ideas on the actual the lens we could get. I'm going, oh, should we go for a wide? Because I've got my eye on a wider field one, but I haven't seen the zoom or the tracking. So like, because I scrubbed through and I couldn't see the zoom on the track, so I don't know if I'm on the right one. So is it? What did you say it was? What was the full? Actually put the title in of their channel, and then I can check it out. There. Where did we get to? You probably answered already because I'm so far behind on those ones. Could be future. UFOs could be our future means of transport. Amelia, I lean that way very strongly. I think the future human hypothesis is probably a very strong contender from that. TikTokers, I'll be over to you guys shortly. I'm just finishing up with the YouTube there. Seems like fairly clean up. We're lucky there. And what if we weren't alone in the universe there? Well, if we are alone or if we aren't, equally are as scary there. And do they want to save Earth there? Jamie Masson claims that extraterrestrials only want to help us. So again, I'm wary of anybody that makes this very, very complicated subject into a binary yes or a no, or a binary good or bad. That's a trap that our brains want us to collapse complicated things down to, so we don't have to think. So, and maybe the overall answer, maybe the most of what we're seeing now is a benevolent race. But I also think there is this temptation within us as humans to look for heroes, to look for saviors, rather than trying to do the work ourselves. So we always have to be careful of our bias there. So good spotting Emilio as well there. Sorry guys, so far behind. I'm a bit late with all of those ones. And so what's the purple spot there, Grandmaster? That is Vega. Big, beautiful Vega there, 26 light years from us here. Too much in the air, too many alive cameras. Never too many. The more eyes on the skies, 100% is better there, because there's more people getting the evidence again, more people having a chance to see it, and more people can have those opportunities to see and be brought into the subject there. Oh, Trump has ordered the declassification. He has. But now, will they get it all, or will it be some of it kept back there? I think they'll always try and keep some back there. They have good track. I haven't seen the tracking though. I'm curious to see how people do it, because that's a problem that I have. But I haven't seen the tracking there. In check there, they're very, very nice people. Oh, excellent and rare. But I'll have to give it, because I've scrubbed through them. Because hey, Night Sky's good, but I haven't seen the tracking. So I bet I'll have to have another look again, because that would be very, very cool. Because that's a difficulty that we have. My tracker's totally given up the ghost, and not spiders, anything but spiders. Can you imagine? It's the aliens. They are friendly guys. They're here to save us. But they are big spiders. Okay. I don't know if I trust it. I'm going to turn up and say, are you looking for cheaper car insurance? Yeah, let's compare the Meerkat, but compare it with Alan instead. The shapeshifters are the worst. I've heard a little bit, but not a lot on it there. They're shitty characters. And NASA is re-establishing contact with Voyager 1, 24 billion kilometers away. And crazy, isn't it, that they can do that? Alien messages to Earth there. Bugger off. We're not in. And when we are, we don't want to talk. As they fly by in the UFOs, they press the central lock-in. Earth's a rough place there. Signal 1 is a way better than Disclosure Day. I still haven't seen it yet. When it's free to view, I will do it. I will tank. I will have a look. NASA is hiding something there. Voyager 1 picked up 25 billion kilometers away. Is unexplainable. I know there's a lot of fluff around, people talking about the Voyager messages and things like that, but Voyager has detected very, very interesting things on a scientific point of view, but it's nothing that I've seen that is necessarily alien, because a lot of its sensors have been turned off now to save battery life, so it's kind of running deaf, dumb and blind. It can only detect a few things for a while. There's a weird arrow in the sky. Hold on. Oh, it's back. No, hold on. There it is. It's back. Look at 1, 2, 3 there. Yeah, wait until about end of July, August time. The skies will get busy. It's all to do with the sun's position relative to Earth and how many of those objects can actually get the sun's light. There's a few windows a year we get where it's absolutely just chaos up there. chemicals in the atmosphere, yeah, through the light spectrum. That's a good point, yeah. The colour that we do see is affected by our atmosphere. It's why the stars twinkle, but it's why some of those objects do have very distinct colours there. We are not the only ones. They are more. I think so. And what if we turned Voyager 1's camera back on? I would love to. If only we had they could do that. I don't think they ever will, but I think that would be cool. That, you know, images from that far away. Oh, thank you, Tank. Appreciate that. Well, there. How you doing, Scotty? Beam us up. Where are we there? NASA succeeds in saving Voyager 1. It's crazy that 70s technology, they can still keep it alive there. Guys, if you are just joining us, we're doing our live UFO UAP Skywatch tonight. We're coming to you live from Wiltshire here in the UK, which is right in the heart of Crop Circle country, and just down the road from Stonehenge. Do say hello, let us know where you're watching from, ask away any questions, no silly questions here at all, so do welcome. You're all welcome in. I'm just working my way through the tube chat at the minute. Hopefully, I think I'm near the end of those ones, but I'll be bounced back over to the TikTok then. Guys, so let's see where we get to, but do say hello. Make sure you're following and subscribed, whatever it is, wherever you are, because clear nights we do this, the UFO UAP Skywatch from right the heart of Crop Circle country. On cloudy nights we do this. It's an alien radio signal hunt there. We search the hydrogen line, the channel in the radio dial, where scientists theorise that if ET's out there, that's where they'd put the message. If the moon's up and I can be bothered, we do that. It looks like that, and we see some strange things up there indeed. So yeah, hopefully you'll get those notifications when we go live if you're subscribed there. If we'll move at 108,000 kilometers an hour there, why don't we feel it? So I can't get my head around it, but inertia and you know, it's our atmosphere is stable in the same way that when you're on a train, if you jump whilst the train is moving, you don't get pushed away. I think it's similar to that. 21 meteors in 255 super highlights there are. I'll have to have a look. Thank you, Tank. And exact video you can look at online right now off their sites. Quick, I think they are already zoomed. Could be wrong, but it looks like how they point out the anomalies. So I'll have to give it another look, because I've only just scrubbed through. So I'll try and have another look, Tank, there. Oh, that's a nice one over here.
Zoom mode activated.
And I've got to admit, the actual clarity, I really did like that. But I'm very interested in somebody's got the tracking problem solved. So that's a little teardrop shaped one, very different to what we have seen. I'll zoom out, but keep your eyes on it. Remember, we need that hesitation. We need to stop dead, change speed, course, or trajectory, something like that. Tells us for sure it is something very, very strange indeed. There, where did we get to there? C1 Amelia there as well. Anomalies up there. So listens tracks with sound too. Oh, okay, right. I'm gonna have to. All right, I'll give it another go. And it is just Skywatch, isn't it? The channel. I'm going to have to check that one out there. Right, there. That was a good one. It's a nice, bright one. Honestly, though, August time is the best there. Right, I'll give it another check. Oh, Carl, how are we doing, Carl? How are you there? Thank you for the gifts. Oh, and feeding Alan. I nearly missed that.
Nom, thanks, guys.
How have you been, Carl? It's getting a bit warmer. I'm a bit worried about that. I'm just scrolling up into the TikTok chat now, finding out where I left off, guys. Sorry. It takes me a while. Where did we get to? Looked, I think, around here. An agent, do you think we have alien technology that would rid us of using fossil fuels there, and have the government I don't know. I think there may be a little bit here or there. But I think that we have this fantasy. This is the trick that we all play on ourselves here, right? We haven't learned this lesson. It's why we keep making mistakes as humans, I think. Is that we think it's a big bad person that is causing all the problems for us. And there are big bad people causing lots of problems for us, but that's not the overall one. The problem is our individual imperfections that we make in a day-to-day that kind of slows it all down. Like it's not the big bad oil companies that are hiding, free and clean energy. They're kind of in it, they do it, and of course they'd give it a go. But also, if we did have that ability, that would be in the form of a bomb as well. Like, we're not responsible enough for it. Like, if anything, having the fossil fuel stops us from making big enough bombs. Okay, we got over that with nuclear stuff. But if there was infinite free energy source, that is also infinite free bomb source. Do we want that? Do we all feel that we're responsible enough to have that? You know, because if one of us has got it, everybody's got it. That's just how it works. You know, energy's energy. And like, so I've got some friends, obviously, in the UK. Our our gun control laws are very strict over here, and I like the aesthetics. I'd like to do target shootings. You know, I wish that, you know, there was a way that I could have some here in the UK, but sadly not. But my friends are, you know, a bit more. I've had conversations with them, and they're like, well, I'm responsible, I should be able to have them. And I said to them, look, think of your stupidest friend, right? If you're allowed it, they're allowed it. Do you want them to have access to guns? And they went, yeah, okay, maybe not. That's the thing, you know. So if these technologies are out there, we need to make sure that we're all at a better level. I think we have to earn them as a society. So if there is anything out like that, I think we would have used it already to hurt ourselves. Not to say there aren't individual smaller things there. I think there's a lot of interesting cases around, you know, post-Roswell, certain technologies being released, certain materials that could have come out there. But I don't think I think there's just this human fantasy that there is always a better world, that it's just a few bad people that are, you know, blocking the door. You know, and there are bad people, and they are trying to do those things, but that ain't the ultimate overall problem. And Frenchie, who's had an unexplained experience? Frenchie, I second that one. Guys, do let us know. I said, first of all, if you've got any questions, ask away. Always want to hear them. There's no silly questions here at all. Maybe it's what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it. Always work. It's always cool. But yeah, if you've had an experience, I'd love to hear about that one. And NFFC. And I don't know if you follow an app called Flight Radar there, but I was having a browse and I clicked on a UFO plane. So I do have it. We check it when something comes up on the screen about UFO plane there, traveling at 800 knots. It's not how accurate the app is. So it works off of the passive details, the stuff that's logged publicly, isn't it? So that's pretty cool. I know they've done a couple of joke things on there before. They put Concord back on for, I think, April Fool's there. So maybe it's something like that. Very, very cool there. And Agent, what do you think to Fire in the Sky there? Do you believe Travis? To what degree do I believe Travis there? So he said that the film itself was a bit dramatised, but his experience, he's one of the more, for me, believable direct individual encounters. But I'm an asshole because I'm one of these frustrating people where I really want to see the evidence myself, I want to have the experience myself before I commit. You know, I'm very frustrating like that. So it can be flashing me in the face, and many times in my life it has been obvious, it's been in my face, but I'm so stubborn, I want to have that direct experience with it. So individual cases always score for me much lower than the generalized stuff. So is life out there in the universe? 100%. Is life visiting us here on the Earth? I think 90%, maybe top 90s for that. But when we get into the specific ones, it's all about all individual things, and that one does score highly for an individual account, but I don't know fully yet there. How are we doing, Carl? Just getting to your messages there. And where are we? Down the road with those there. And Silkers, how are you there? Is it live? It is live. This is a live camera coming straight in on a very long HDMI lead in my garden. This is the Night Sky Live. Where are you joining us from? Haggis hasn't been in tonight, no. And Flump there, they're definitely out there, but they can't reach us. This is a very plausible thing. You know, these distances are vast. I think there might be like a grey area for this, right? You know, if we're talking about ET traveling from another planet to another planet, you know, from at different solar systems, interstellar travel, you know, coming from our solar system, visiting us, then going back home. For me, for that to be possible, we need something like a warp drive, I think. You know, like these distances are incredibly vast. They take a hell of a lot of time, and just the way with how time works, if there isn't, it's going to be a one-way trip for most biological life forms there. But that being said, the grey area comes in if there isn't a warp drive, that, you know, if life is so different to us, maybe it doesn't operate on the same timescales, maybe it's a plasma life and it can kind of pop in and out. You know, maybe there's that sort of consideration around it as well. Or maybe there's just the odd case where a civilization only has conventional propulsion like we have, but they still decide to do a generation ship and just kind of go on for thousands of years and their offspring at some point. So I think there's always the possibility, but it does make it very, very hard over these vast distances for it there. But at the very least, I think panspermic, the transfer of life over these distances, is very, very possible. And can anyone recommend me any good alien movies on Netflix that I could watch at some point? NFC, You know what is on Netflix? There was a series. I can't remember, was it War Machine or something like that? I haven't watched it yet. Apparently that was good. That's a recent one. And R4 there, how are you doing? And you managed to get on there. What time are we on till? We're probably on for another 15 minutes or so. So hopefully we'll catch you for a little bit there, R4. I've been working you late. Not tonight. I don't think we've had many things start, which just means that hopefully it'll come in the last few minutes of the stream. We've literally had that before as I'm waving off for the night. And we have the streak across the sky, the strange movement there. In fact, it's quite common, and I reckon they walk amongst us and have done for ages. Well, whatever the phenomenon is that's going on, it does seem to have been happening for a very, very, very long time. So for me, that is definitely plausible. I wouldn't say it's ridiculous there. OG Banana, how are you doing there? It's a beautiful sky. Have you missed much there? Feel like nothing is happening disclosure-wise. It does seem to have slowed down, Banana. Hopefully, it's the calm before the storm. Hopefully. We are hearing a little rumbles, but you just never know. You just never know. It does feel like it has a kind of like a lot of build-up, and it's just like, I'm definitely holding my breath waiting for something to happen. How you been, though, Banana? How did you survive the heat wave? I think there are many other life forms. Frankly, I would bet money. If I had to bet, I think life is going to be absolutely bloody everywhere, in all different shapes and forms, layers of complexity. And then if we do get intelligent life out there, it is going to be on a different whole total spread of temperaments, just like life here on Earth. There is a species, an organism for every niche, every environment, every possibility. There's predators, there's prey, there's blobs, there's flying things. I think the universe is going to be just the same unless there's a good reason to argue that we are special. I'm not sure how space works, but do you think other planets has seen Earth explode, or the downfall? Oh, interesting, the NFC. So as far as we understand it at the minute, time works in one direction. So it moves forward. So what they will see in those distant planets, because of how time works, even if they were looking like right now, depending on how far away they are, will depend on how far back in time they can see. So they'll see, if they had a telescope powerful enough to kind of see the Earth's surface, if they are 1,000 light years away, they will right now look back and see the Earth's surface it was 1,000 years ago. So it kind of works like that. If they're 100 million light years away and they can see our surface and see the dinosaurs, so they wouldn't necessarily be able to see the future with that, but that is based on our current understanding of time. And there has been a very interesting experiment that was done at the University of Birmingham very, very recently, where they basically made a very, very simple model universe in a lab, and they were testing the principles of time. And essentially it seems to be that time is a product of changes. If a system is going to change, then the way that you explain it being one way and then another is time. Time is an emergent property of that, which is crazy to get your head around. But they're also crazy that they can do a very simplified model of a universe in a lab. Adam as well there, and Zelly, thank you for the follows, guys. Do appreciate that. Where are you joining us from tonight? All the planets have seen Earth's future. Or are we all in the same time zone? And it's called. So this is a very, very... Oh, thank you for the gifts there. Appreciate those, guys. All goes back into the stream. Same as members, Patreon, super chats. Oh, and merch as well. Look, got our Skywatch t-shirt on there. Link in bio. All getting us on the road at the minute. So we can do a live Skywatch from Rentram Forest. That's the plan. But so they can't see the future. But time isn't what we expect, because we experience time in a very strange way on Earth. So we all think time is the same, but it's kind of plus or minus. But I can ring you up on the other side of the Earth. We're going to have a real-time conversation. Doesn't matter if it's light or dark or whatever the clock says. The actual shared time, it's the same for us here, because we're, in space terms, very, very close together. But that's not quite how time works. Time is more like weather. Time can be a bit slow over there, and then it can be a bit faster over there, and then it can change. But it doesn't mean it's going to, just because it's raining where you are, doesn't mean it's going to rain where it is to me in an hour's time. Time isn't quite like that. It doesn't plus or minus from a base point. Time is fucking weird. But also, if you get far enough away from an object, time doesn't need to be linear. Doesn't need to be one step in front of another. If you're outside of an object's sphere of influence there, one thing could happen before the other thing, or the other way around. Time is just weird. The way we have that functional understanding of it here on Earth is not very representative of time, really is. It's just a weird product because of how we experience it being all so close together there. Still a little warm, Carl. It very much is. And everybody's telling me tonight we've got another bloody heat wave due, and I think I'm going to cry if that's the case. They say if they look at Earth there, they are seeing the past, the dinosaurs. Exactly. So that is for a very rough understanding. But yeah, basically, so it is. So example here, this star Vega.
Zoom mode activated.
Is 26 light years from us here on Earth. So we're seeing it because that light has travelled from that star. The glow of that star has travelled all the way across space, down to us here, through our atmosphere, into the lens of the camera, down the wire to you guys, which is pretty cool if you think it's travelled that far. But that's 26 light years it's travelled, so it's travelled for 26 of our years, which means that that is a snapshot of what that star looked like 26 years ago. So if 25 years ago that star actually exploded, went supernova, we wouldn't know for another year, because the light from the explosion, the shock wave, travels at the speed of light, so it's delayed. So we've got to wait another 26 years, basically 26 years for that. So another year for us there. So it's crazy how it all works. Oh, come on, Zoom, play, sort it out. Where are we there? I thought that it would be the other way around, because they are seeing past and not the future. Yes, they are seeing. They are seeing the past for us. But yeah, time is weird. Apple user, how you doing there? What's the oldest planet or star we have in our galaxy? Very good question there. You know what? I don't know, but there's a quite wide range. And what tends to happen is, stars will expire, they explode, and then all that material gets sent out and then gets formed into other stars, and our galaxy captures a gas cloud, and then that gets turned into more stars. There's such a wide variation of range. I don't actually know how old the Milky Way galaxy is, but much older than our star. Like our star is quite new. Our whole solar system is quite new to the party, really. So there's been plenty of time and plenty of space for other life to have developed just within our galaxy, not even the rest of the universe, within our galaxy. And again, we're a new star in our galaxy, and our galaxy is a relatively newish, galaxy in the universe. So there is plenty of space for all of the aliens out there. Where are we? It doesn't define time. What do you mean for that one? I can't remember what I was talking about there. I think time is a from perspective there. So that's relativity. So that is it. It's basically time is relative to the individual. It's how we experience it relative to you. So I can see you going at a certain speed, but you can see me going at a certain speed as well, and somebody else can be going at a different speed, and they'll see both of us doing different things. So it's subjective almost, not quite subjective, but it's a different observation for different people. So if I went on a light speed trip to Vega, it would take me 26 years, right? If I travelled at light speed. Now, for me, I'd get there in 26 years, but for you guys, if you watched my spaceship getting closer, it'd take me hundreds of years, or thousands of years, or whatever it is there. So relative to me, I'm travelling at light speed. Works. But for you guys, I think it's around that way. Or maybe it's around the other way. I don't know. But it gets confusing there. It's a busy one. There's lots of chat. I absolutely love it there. And Adam coming in with the gifts. Thank you for those. As it all goes back into the stream. Where do we get to over YouTubers? It's why we wanted to everyone to count time with watches and clocks, etc. How fast is light speed? So I don't actually know to measure it based on other things there, but we know it's the speed limit of the universe. Nothing, as far as we know, can travel faster than that, because that is like the refresh rate of the universe, the frame rate almost. But I can't give you a different measure to it. It's just the distance that light travels in that defined period. So a light year is how far light will travel, the fastest thing in a year relative to us. But the clocks and stuff. An interesting thing may have happened when we started measuring these things, because again, its observation seems to affect our realities and stuff. That when we started to develop clocks, like we didn't have clocks and watches and all this sort of stuff, obviously because of a technological limitation, but times in different towns, even within our small country was still variable there. We were still a lot more casual with it. But when the railways were developed, everybody needed to have an agreed time. So, you know, because if you're, you know, 4 o'clock is 10 minutes behind my 4 o'clock, and I say I'm going to get to you from my 4 o'clock, then for you I'm 10 minutes early, and there might be another train on the platform. So they had to agree, they had to synchronize everything. That, and then obviously that goes globally, and the technology helps us to do that. But there might be an argument that because we're synchronizing all of these independent measurements of time, all these independent realities, we might be doing some sort of weird quantum effect there, because as soon as things are measured and then connected, everything has to synchronize, has to agree on a reality that might have been variable until then. Like reality, I will bet money that right now that reality is localized. You know, we think of reality is that it exists and we're all in it and we're observing it, but I think it's round the other way. We all exist independently, and then we all have our own version of reality that we then agree with other people as we meet. So we have to agree on what those common grounds are. So if you're thinking of like a multiplayer game online, you know, to render all of the world in real time and update all of those changes for everybody all the time is just too intensive. Their computers can't do that even today. So what they have to do is that, you know, you're in your part of that, you're interacting, but only when another player comes in to your space within your field of influence, then you both have to go, does the map look the same? Oh wait, no, you kicked the bin over on your ones, so right, we need to make sure the bin's kicked over for the other player. Stuff like that. And I think that's probably where the Mandela effects and shit like that come in. It's pretty confusing, but I think that might be part of what is going on. Explains a lot. Let's have a look. Where did we get to over on the tubes that are there tonight? Oh, you were here, Lucy. Thank you for that. That is now your job. I like that. That is brilliant. I actually appreciate that one so much, because it jumps up and down the chat, and then, you know, like when a new message comes in, it goes to the bottom. I'm like, where was I? Was I reading through here? So that is actually incredibly helpful, Lucy. 10 points. Only when we've got a hangover. And there is infinite energy, and it's called the sun. As infinite as an energy source could be, well, that's, I think, exactly right there. It's not truly infinite. It will run out. It will burn through its hydrogen. It will then burn through all the other shit or whatever it's made up of, and eventually not. So it's technically not infinite in that sense, but relative to us, it's going to outlast all of us. So it might as well be bloody infinite, mightn't it? The other argument is that lots of cultures have talked about this, and science keeps coming around to this all of the time, which is something like the ether. It keeps coming up, but the idea that there is this energy field that we don't directly interact with, but it is kind of there. And again, they think that they disproved it in the late 1800s there. They figured out some experiments, didn't come up positive, but science keeps coming back to it. It kind of, when it starts to work something out, it goes, there needs to be an ether. Oh, but there isn't one. We've already figured that out. But recently, they're starting to look back at that again. I mean, I think Tesla was talking about this. And lots of other cultures have talked about this in the past. Essentially, like we have our Wi-Fi, there is an infinite, like a wireless power source out there that is just, you know, incredibly energy dense. I think some people talk about the entire energy of the sun in a cubic square meter of this ether. But again, they've not measured it, so it's all guess at the second. But yeah, science keeps coming around to it, and they think there might be some more tests for it. So maybe there is just this energy field, an infinite energy field, just behind the things. But could we be trusted with it? This is the thing. It only takes one person with access to infinite energy to wipe us all out. And maybe that's the great filter. Maybe that's why, you know, there isn't other obvious or more obvious civilizations there. You know, be careful of what we wish for. Are we mature enough to handle it there? Fiber optic telescopes. Think a miniature death rays there. The Boogosphere level tech. And patents exist there. Hey, you there? Look for yourselves. I've heard about old Tesla's death ray. That was an interesting one. Tried to sell it to us here in the UK, but we didn't want to pay for it. That's a nice little collection we've got on screen right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up there. Keep your eyes. Remember, it only takes one of them, guys, to stop
Zoom
dead.
mode
Sure for speed, change course or trajectory. That will tell us for sure that it is something else, a little bit stranger than one of the many, many man-made objects flying around up there right now. Where did we get to? Sorry, guys. Sam's too earthbound with his thinking. Well, maybe, I don't know. This is the thing. You never know. I am a product of my environment, same as we all are as individuals. And the reason that we aren't all born with genetic memory like flies and things like that is because we need to adapt to our individual environments. So each one of us has a different experience of the world. Not only are we geographically all in different places, but we all have, different experiences around that, different places within society and all that crap. So we are all products of those things. We are evolution's attempt. An individual, in the same, some people might grow an extra finger, and evolution goes, does that work? Do they get to reproduce more? Right, we're going to have more, that's going to prevail. So do our temperament, our psychologies and things like that. They are rolls of the dice in real time to see there. So again, we are all limited by our experiences and things like that. No one can save you. For as a Netflix suggestion, good thing will lead to there. And which camera do you use to film the stars? The Sony A7S is the one. I think it's that one. So we can't leave this running all night to see what happens. Lucy, I would love to. See, sadly, the camera just isn't weather or moisture proof, really. But that's the main barrier. Otherwise, I would. There are cameras that you can do it with, but like the quality comparison is just no good. So I'm hesitant to like bother doing that. But I would love to run this 24/7. We run our SETI ones 24/7 now when it doesn't break. And Mark there as well. Oh, just here to kick ass and chew bubble gum. And I'm all out of gum. I need a drink. I've been out of a drink now for an hour. And fighting is so primitive. So I don't think it is. I don't see, and this is a contradictory opinion here, because I think most people, definitely culturally, we look at ourselves as aggressive, and all this sort of stuff, and that's a reasonable estimation of it there. But I don't think it is that. I think what fighting and aggression is it's friction. It's the same as friction in physics. I think it's an inherent property of that. And until we are all in a unified system without friction, then that's when we go for it. I don't think, it doesn't mean we don't have responsibility for minimizing it as much as possible, but I think we're viewing it wrong. I think it's an inherent property of our environment, and it's way more complicated than we know, and that we can ever conceive of, probably. And what's good to say how it doesn't line up with the USA watches there, so just move over there. Exactly, it was offline. Well, luckily we can, isn't it there? We live in the world, you can just bounce between the two. I was looking at renting telescopes in different countries, so we could just come on wherever from a different point in the world, but it's bloody expensive, and a telescope wouldn't be quite as good for doing it. And quantum comms, it's happening there. Light years in a split of a second. And on the quantum teleportation, I have read up on a few of those things, but it's still very... Our knowledge of it is still very limited. But what I do find very interesting is I think it highlights that there's massive areas that we don't know. So exactly when we're talking about all of these things, these are based from our viewpoint, like the limitations of distance and speed, based on things being limited to near what our current understanding is. Again, but we can't say what is in the unknown because it's unknown. But it does point to there probably being other things around it. And I think, warp drives itself is a great way to do it. It doesn't break the maths. It is perfectly possible to build a warp drive. In fact, we may even be seeing evidence of that happening. And you're literally bending time and space, making your own little bubble of a universe. So the universe is moving, not you as a workaround. And that's just what we can get our heads around as humans. What else are those other workarounds that could be there? Bringing in dimensions to all of this and stuff as well. And as said, we've seen the movie that took that quote from They Live, Roddy Piper. It rings a bell. And a rezo there. And how can time be an emergent property of something else there? If something else creates time, what causes it to create it? That's what I can't wrap my head around. But they've speculated for a long time that time might not be fundamental. In fact, our understanding of time is kind of like gravity. We have these functional understandings that allow us to go about our day-to-day existence, but they're not very good. They don't really know a lot about them. So this is by no means conclusive. This was like first one-off test there, but it does indicate something very, very interesting, that time isn't fundamental. It's a product of a system changes within a system, but what changes it? I have exactly the same questions that you've got with that, with it. Time is a very, very tough construct there. Very definitely, Nathan. Kind of a ride on point for our times there. And the universe is aging, though. Well, yeah, but it might also be, from the outside perspective, always one thing, and we're just riding like an internal wave over there. Go to shore. What's that? And please hit the thumb up, Mark. I do appreciate that one. It really does help the algorithm. It is the likes, the shares, the tapping away, especially on YouTube. That one, proper like at the top there. That does tell us that other people might like this, and you never know who's going to come in and what they're going to share, whether it's their knowledge, things that they've heard, or a personal experience with the phenomena. That is my favourite bit, and it's the thing that has changed my opinion the most about all of this there. And so, as well, and damn it, Rocky, I would fall off the YouTube charts there. And 2016's Arrival is a very good movie. You're not wrong there, Tank. Oh, look at that green one coming in. Hold on.
Zoom mode activated.
Look at that. How different to all of the ones that we've seen tonight. How different is that one? Now, again, guys, green is interesting, but it isn't. Oh, I need to zoom out because we're losing it now. Where is it? There. Oh, just off screen down there. Boom. But it isn't 100% slam dunk. I know, it can do that depending on its altitude. Never heard of a sundial. What's that for? I can't remember now. And was there only clocks? Oh, back then was the sundial. Oh, so yeah. So that was how they measured. But sundial isn't necessarily precise, is it? And again, sundial's positions where relative to where you are for it, relative to your location, isn't it? So this is the thing, that it wasn't synchronizing between different people, but it makes the argument, doesn't it, that it's the amount of ways that we are synchronizing. So it's not in all the details, but there are always certain things, I think you actually a great point, like sun in the sky or not in the sky is going to synchronize humanity to a certain degree, but the more precisely you do it, the more things you're negotiating. Yeah, it's in the details. Was that was the only clock? Yeah, unless we go back even further, maybe pre-existing civilization there. It's very much appreciated, Lucy. And did you guys see the? I just saw my ex-wife fly by on her from. That's the Halloween stream. And Stargate's like in a movie, Contact there. So Contact was a brilliant film. Post the video. Was that a flasher? Oh, that was a cool shooting star just there. Some more activity now. That's a good one down there. That was cool to see. What was it, Georgia? UFO file 1974 view on the Discord. Thank you there, Emilio. I'll check that one out. Guys, if you want to check that one out too, link in bio for the Discord. Personal experiences and all sorts of wonderful things over there as well, where you can share yours or read through them all. What we are told is a thirst degree, and there are 33 degrees of knowledge here. I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised. I think, it's like with kids, isn't it? You tell them very simplified things so they can get about the day-to-day with the things that they need to know. And you go, right, don't lie, but as an adult, don't lie isn't sophisticated enough. It isn't detailed enough for us to navigate the world. But as a child, where the adult is responsible for making sure that environment is safe, they need to know all the details on it, all that sort of stuff. That's suitable for a child, but it's not for an adult. And there's lots of things like that we have these simplified understandings for things that we don't update as much as we should. So I'm totally behind the various degrees of these things. They Live is a great documentary. I haven't seen it. Had a personal experience as a teen, but kind of a complicated story to explain through text. Jeffro, one day we'll do a live call-in one. If you're around for that, we'd love to hear it there. It's a thing. And Lucy there, and thank you for a cool stream there. Shame we didn't catch one sure today there, but hopefully we can catch you again at some time. So better luck next time. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you in. We're on pretty much every night. If it's a clear sky, we're doing this. Hopefully we will catch you again. But even if we have a quiet one, it's not that long before we normally get some sightings there. Right, I'm going to catch up now with the TikTok, and then we will wind things up. So where did we get to? Where are we going? Where do we get to on the chat? Sorry guys. Also, nice bright one coming in there. Keep your eyes on it, guys. Have you got a podcast that I can watch or listen to even? So, not a normal chatty podcast or anything like that, because it turns out I don't actually know much. I'm just I'm relying on you guys providing the interesting stuff. But our videos are released to watch again, so if there's any streams that you've missed over on the YouTube, those videos are there. In fact, TikTokers, you're missing a trick because I haven't shown you guys tonight, but this is what it looks like over on YouTube. The camera is round the right way rather than on its side. There's less of my face, more of the night sky, and all sorts of other information there. And also YouTube doesn't kick us off anywhere near as much as TikTok does, so definitely worth checking us out over there. But yeah, all the old ones are there to listen back to if for some reason we're not on there. I'm looking at other sort of things, but I honestly don't really know what I could contribute to a conversation. You know, like, again, I'm no more intelligent than any of you. I've got no access to any special information there, so I'm not sure what I'd do it on other than I just find this fascinating there. And that's why they want everybody to count time. I do think so. How fast is a light spell? We did that one as well, didn't we? There. I'll catch you later there, Drewski as well. Thank you for joining us there. And is this there? How you doing there? Sorry, everybody. Right, that's all right. Is this? You never have to apologise. It's good to see you, and it goes for everybody, guys. You're always welcome in. Never any pressure to show up. Sometimes we can't be bothered with aliens, or you get a better offer. But you're always welcome back in when you do fancy it. There. How have you been though? And NFC, I think time is fake and made up there, but we have been using it for so long. We are now just used to it, because how can time feel fast and slow different days depending on what we're up to? It's a very interesting point. Definitely our measurement of time is constructed, how we've decided to chop it up and change it and all of that sort of thing. That is definitely constructed. But there is something, you know, that we could loosely call time. You know, if I put this mug down here and now I put it down here, there's something to describe that there is a difference there. But yeah, there is a weird subjectivity to it, and I've heard it described, I don't know how true it is, but it makes a lot of sense that, you know, you're essentially saving more memories, you know. So if something is normally, if it's bad, you know, you're paying more attention, so you're taking more snapshots, so it feels like it's longer. I don't know how true that is, because you think, well, but surely I'll take more snapshots if I was enjoying something, but maybe not. Where are we? Something completely unique to us there, and assuming that there is intelligent life out there, could well be that. And Liam, is that there? God did Liam. There we go. Give me the $4,000 now. Where do we get to over there? Anyway, guys, right, I'm going to wind up for tonight. I'm losing my voice. I needed to get a drink about an hour ago. I've got work tomorrow still. But we'll be on tomorrow night, guys, so make sure you're following or subscribed. Get those notifications when we go live. Remember, clear nights as expected tomorrow. Let me just double check what the weather thinks it's going to be doing tomorrow. Friday night, yeah, should be another Skywatch for us tomorrow night, guys, so make sure you're following and subscribed. If not, guys, it is the Alien Radio Signal Hunt. We use our own dish, pointed up to the night sky, listening out for ET signals from that, so yeah, do join us for those ones. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your knowledge there, asking your awesome questions, just to keep me company and watching the night sky there. Do appreciate you all, and yeah, we'll catch you all tomorrow night there, guys. Yeah, see you then. Oh, what time would it be? So probably, if it's a Skywatch as planned, it'd be about 11 p.m. UK time. So, for example, we are at 13 minutes past 1 a.m. in the morning now. So do the calculations if you're not in the UK. If it's a SETI stream, so we'll go on a bit early, maybe about 10 UK time. But I think it's going to be a Skywatch there. Make sure the bedbugs don't bite. It's just the heat of the minute. But anyway, guys, catch you later. Bye-bye.